Hello and welcome to the shoot. I already forgot the Witty Banter. I almost said welcome to the invasive wit channel, which is what I often do for my streams.
I mean, that is where we are. Where
Yeah,
they are.
that is true. Well, they could be also on Spotify. But anyway, welcome to Witty Banter. Wow, I'm always screwing up the intro.
Hi! We're out of practice, can
Yes,
you tell?
it's been a little while since we did our last one. All right, so just like how we begin all our other ones, we are going to do Lauren's blind book guessing. I haven't come up with a better name for that. Might want to do that sometime.
We should make it a whole series.
Yeah, just like some kind of better name.
Yeah, why haven't we come up with cute names for other things?
I know. I don't know why. I literally just thought about this now.
It's time for the series that doesn't have a name.
All right. So, for those who have not seen our previous podcast, go watch those. But basically, what happens is Lauren, as you can kind of see in the background here, has a plethora of books. I have selected 3 at random, and she has to guess them from my description of the cover. So, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Close your eyes. And first book behind Pikachu here. Oh, for those watching the video, we're trying a different camera setup, so you can't really see Pikachu that well. All right, so first book. So if you want to play along, just minimize the video. If you're at home, you can play along because there is no video. Or never mind. If you listen to Spotify is what I meant. So here's the first book. All right.
We're not doing well.
No, we are not. But I don't like to edit these or like start over unless I really screw up, which
So you get raw, completely authentic content here, folks.
yes, more raw than sushi. All right, ready?
Yes.
So this is a paperback.
Okay.
It has a pink cover.
Okay.
The title is in white. The font is in white. The author's name kind of looks like either like a dark green. There is.
Okay. Okay.
Do you already have a guess?
I think so.
I guess you're gonna get this off just 3 colors again.
Is there a blonde girl holding a bouquet on the front?
No.
No. Okay, then I don't know.
So there is a woman and a man on the front. There's also a gnome.
Oh! Oh!
Knew you get it off of the gnome.
Yep.
So what is it, hon?
Oh gosh, it's called Once Upon a December by
Yep.
Amy E. Reichert.
Correct.
Yay! Ta-da! I've read this one. Fun fact, Amy is one of my favorite authors.
Oh.
She is a local Wisconsin author. Well, not local, but
Well,
she's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I actually drove 2 hours to meet her for a book signing
Cool.
before I met you, and she's the sweetest woman. I absolutely adore her. And this is her latest book. So
So it's not this book that's signed.
No, it was her.
That's what I was literally just looking for the signing.
So her 1, 2, 3, fourth. Her 4th book was the one that I went to the signing for, The Optimist Guide to Letting Go. So yeah, I've read all of her books, and I just read this one earlier this year, actually, around January.
So recent in your head.
Well,
I
mean, yes, gnomes are like a giveaway in general because it's a gnome, but gnomes actually figure in the plot of the story.
Oh.
So the gnome isn't just there to be cute, which I thought it was, but it actually it's a plot point, weirdly enough. So, yep.
I was like,
It was a romance book, though.
Yeah, as with usual with these, I try to give things that do describe the cover, but don't give it away. And I was like, well, if I say snowflakes, that would probably give it away. Might give it away, or the mistletoe or holly and stuff like that.
I mean, I only have so many holiday books, so
Yeah. All right. Yay! So
Put
first,
me.
first one knocked out of the park.
Okay.
All right, eyes closed.
Yep.
If you're watching on YouTube and wish to play along, close your eyes. If not,
Except you on Spotify, because you can't see.
really like digging it in there, don't you?
Sorry. Normally we're so, on our A game. The fact that we're not this time, it's just very humorous to me. Okay, sorry.
All right,
go
right.
ahead.
So here is book number 2.
Yes. Okay. It sounds like a hardcover.
Nope, it's a paperback.
Is it? Oh, it had a clicky sound. It sounded like a dust jacket.
That was my finger going across the cover.
Ah.
So, and I'm now getting the name. I'm wondering if I did this book before. I don't know, but we'll find out. So the cover is red, but a lot of it is covered in black because like a lot of this picture stuff is black. But I would say the actual cover itself is red, but the spine, what color would you call that? Like a greenish blue, maybe?
Didn't you do this one already? Isn't this hooked?
Damn it, I must.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this about how.
Do you want to do this again?
Want me to go get another book real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a mulligan because.
No, I guess get Matt to keep my eyes closed.
And let's say if I'm getting another book, then you have to keep your eyes
closed.
Because
last time you were like, how'd you get it with 2 colors? I'm like, because it's a teal spine and a red cover. There's no book in my library that's a red book with a teal spine. That's a very specific color combination. That is funny, though. He had just been commenting, I hope I don't pick the same book more than once.
All right.
Lo and behold.
New book. And
okay.
I'm 99% certain I have not done this one before.
I like those odds.
Thank you for entertaining our listeners while I was fixing my mistake.
I am just that entertaining.
Like I said, it wasn't until I picked it up right before telling you about the book that also I'm like, wait a minute, I have a feeling I've done this before. Mm-hmm. Not picking the book. Picking the book, it didn't register. Wasn't until
describing it because you had deja vu.
Yeah.
All
right. So for those in the audience, book number 2.5. It's right here. All right. This is a hardcover.
So that also sounds like a hardback.
This is a hardcover with a jacket.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a hardback.
The jacket is black. The cover appears to be white. Yep, the cover is white.
You mean the naked book is white?
Yes, the actual cover is white.
Well,
the jacket.
That doesn't help.
Well, I don't know. So the jacket is black. The
black.
Yes, the title and author's name are in gold.
Oh, okay.
So you better not get it off of freaking black and gold.
Is there like a weird, like gem-looking red heart on the cover?
No.
No. Okay. It's not legendary.
There are golden stars on the cover.
Oh shoot.
There
are there like feet, like ballet feet or something? Like dancer feet?
I mean, there are legs.
There are legs, okay.
No other body part.
Okay, like just the legs?
Just the legs.
Crap.
And what kind of looks like a crescent moon almost.
Yep.
So it sounds like you know what the book is, but you're struggling to remember what the title is.
Okay, I bought this book years, and I literally years ago, and it's about a circus in Montreal, and those 2 words. I'm like, that's all my wheelhouse right there, and I have no idea what it's called. I can see the cover in my head, and I have absolutely no idea what the words on the cover are.
Wow. So randomly picking a book to make up for my mistake, I've actually gotten a winner here.
What sucks, can I get like half a point? Because I know what this book is, but I do not know the title. I could not. It's not One Night in Montreal, because that's another book by Emily. Looking at
the inside inside the jacket, apparently this does take place in Montreal.
Yeah, it's two kids, and one lives in one type of, it's like one struggling income, and I could have sworn there was a circus element. I don't know what it's called. I don't know.
Well, so do you want to give up and open your eyes?
I can't think of what it would be called. Like, is there midnight in the title somewhere?
Not at all.
No? Okay. Yeah, I got nothing. The Lonely Hearts Hotel. Yep. That's it. That's the one.
Woo, I get a point.
That's the book.
For those who haven't watched previous podcasts, it is very difficult for me to stump her. This is only like the second.
Well, I guess you didn't even stump me, because I can see the book.
No, it counts as stumping.
I know, but
because you could not name the title.
So I could see the whole thing, and there are words, but the words were just blurry. They were just blurs, and all the rest of the design I saw. Dang it.
Point, Steven. All right, now let's see if I have gotten a point off of you in the past, like once or twice, but I don't think I've ever actually won.
No, you've never won.
I've never won. So now with the third one here, now it's 1 point apiece, so there is a chance for me to win.
There is.
All right, so close your eyes.
Okay.
All right, and book numero tres.
We do not speak of tres. That's the thing that I said the other day. Remember? There
Yep.
was the joke that I made you laugh really hard, and it was like, why did you laugh at that joke? You say it all the time. And you're like, but you never say it, so it caught me off guard, and it was funny. That was the joke I said. Sorry, everyone who's watching.
Welcome to Inside Joke
I
Corner.
was going to say, everyone's like, what's happening? Okay, sorry, go
anyway,
ahead.
all right, get back to what we're supposed to be doing here. So showing the audience at home, or wherever you're watching this. All right, so once again, hardcover.
Okay.
No jacket.
No jacket.
No jacket.
Oh.
No capes. It is blue with little silver dots on it.
Oh.
And
is it like a little square and there's like an illustration in the square?
yes,
Shit, it's by Philip Pullman.
correct.
It's signed, by the way. Oh god, the book, what's it called? It's the book after his Dark Materials trilogy. Oh no.
Where the heck is it signed?
It should be at the very front somewhere.
That's what I'm looking
Oh no. The Book
There
of
it is.
Hours?
at. No.
Damn it.
You're close.
Oh,
There's your
it's
signature.
not the Book of Hours?
It's not the Book of Hours.
Is it the Book of something?
You are 75% correct. It is the Book of Blank.
The Book of something, okay. Yeah,
It's not the Book of Hours. You're correct with the author.
I know. Shout. What? It's not called the Book of... Are you sure?
I am looking at... Look, audience, see, it is not called the Book of Hours. That does not say hours.
The Book of... Shoot.
Nope, it's not the Book of Shoot.
Oh,
You are so close on this.
I know.
You got the author and you got 75% of the title.
The only thing that's... it will not tell... my brain will not say anything other than hours. Like, it will not... Like, it's denying...
I think we're going to count this as a win for you because you've named the author. Like, you called the illustration on the front.
Yeah.
And that it was a signed copy.
Because I know what it is.
Yeah.
I just don't remember the name.
I think we'll count this as a win for you.
Okay. What is it? The Book of what? Can I have my...
Yes. Oh, yes. No.
Dust! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's so
Look at
embarrassing. To anyone who's read his Dark Materials, the fact that I couldn't think of the word dust... That is such an important, Dust is such an important part of that book series. Why the heck did I not think of Dust?
I don't know. I think we're going to count this as a win for you.
What's the Book of Hours, then?
They're
That-
not
that's
my
a-
books.
That's a title. I mean, I don't think I own it, but technically, this is called La Belle Sauvage. Because the book
Well, you didn't get that at all.
the Book of Dust is the collection of books. So, his Dark Materials, this is the Book of Dust, and it's La Belle Sauvage, Volume 1. Oh, there's where he signed it.
Yeah, when I first did it, I accidentally flipped 2 pages at once.
I need to read this, because I freaking love his Dark Material. Unfortunately, the second book in the series is red, and it looks like... This one's so pretty. This is a special edition that came out during a Thanksgiving time. It was one of those, everything was super cheap and on sale. Mm-hmm. And I fell madly in love. I realized it was signed because I believe Philip Pullman is.
Hey, this is the first time they're seeing my new mug.
Oh yes, that's true. But I'm pretty sure that Philip Pullman is British, so the fact that it was a signed copy, I lost my mind because I would never get one otherwise. Right. There's a whole story.
So there we go. Like I said, I say that's a win for you because you got pretty much the entire thing.
Thank you for being gracious.
All right. So what we decided to do for today's topic. We recently watched the movie Elemental.
Yes, we did.
And we both agreed that it is a good movie that does not deserve all the flack it is getting online. And we also agree that a lot of that is probably due to the fact that the previews for it were terrible. They did not give you any idea. We're not going to give spoilers for the movie in case you haven't seen it yet. But it is... Well, actually, you know what? So I'm gonna say this because we might talk about movies and stuff. Yeah, so,
yeah. You can put a spoiler warning.
So yeah, I'm putting up a spoiler warning right now. If you've not seen Elemental, go out and see it. No, But if you're like super worried about spoilers, pause the episode, go watch it, then come back and finish the episode. Same with any of the Pixar movies, because what we decided to do is do a ranking of the Pixar movies, strictly Pixar, and also strictly the first Pixar movie. So no sequels, no prequels. The one that is kind of an exception, but not really, is the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Buzz Lightyear.
Because while that is like affiliated with Toy Story, I wouldn't really
prequel.
I wouldn't call it a prequel or a sequel. Like it's not really a prequel because it's like
like an original film based on a franchise.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like fan fiction.
Yeah. And so
of its own property.
It's like when you watch the movie, it's like this is the movie that Andy watched that made him want to get a Buzz Lightyear. So it's like if you want to be super technical, you could kind of call it a prequel because obviously he saw the movie before Toy Story 1.
But it isn't actually directly related to the story and the characters
in
the Toy Story franchise.
No, like I argue it's barely connected to Buzz.
Exactly. So
all right. So yeah, we each did a ranking.
Yes.
And we are going to go through said ranking. I'm thinking bottom up, going from least favorite.
I just showed you my entire page.
Oh, good thing I can't read out of the side of my eyes because of my glasses. But anyway.
So what are we doing? I'm sorry.
I figured what we could do was go from what's the very bottom of your list and
ending at the top.
Ending at the top. I think that's a good way of doing it rather than
ending on a high note instead of a low note.
Ending at the worst. What we think the worst movie is.
Fair enough.
All right. So, just double checking. You got 19 movies, right?
Yes, because we added Elemental in.
Yes.
So that excludes like sequels like Incredibles 2, Monsters University, Finding Dory, Cars 2 and 3, and Toy Story 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
Correct.
Excluding all of those because...
The reason for this is because he's never seen Cars 2 and 3.
Nope. And also because Lauren argued about how, since a lot of the sequels aren't as good as the originals and stuff like that, it would pretty much the bottom numbers would all be filled with nothing but the sequels probably. And so it's
not always,
yeah, but it feels like it gives a more fair ranking if you just go by the first movie.
Yes.
All right. Would you like to do your number? Where's a pen? I'm gonna try to keep track of.
Here. Oh, you got one. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Just so I can keep track of what number we're on in case.
Okay.
So, what is your number 19?
You want me to go first?
Yes. I have a feeling I know what your number 19 is going to be.
Well, speaking of not a prequel or a sequel or having anything to do with the original franchise, I picked Lightyear as my bottom. I really did not like Lightyear.
I was wrong. I did not predict it as your bottom.
Lightyear has 2 things about it. 3 things. 3 things about it that I like. Like, truly like. Good diversity representation.
Mm-hmm.
Diverse diversity representation. Lesbian moms. And... Socks was not as annoying as I thought he would be.
That is true.
That is literally the only parts of the movie that I found genuinely enjoyable. And so I should say, this goes for the entire list. A lot of my ranking has, and I think you said the same thing because I asked you, a lot of what I chose for my ranking has to do with rewatchability for me.
Yeah.
So like if I'm more inclined, even if I have 2 movies that are kind of equal with each other, I think they're kind of equal, the one that's going to be ranked higher is the one that I am more likely to rewatch just for the fun of it.
Yeah. So basically the idea is like, hey, we're going to watch a movie. And which one would you want to, which Pixar movie would you want to watch the most?
Hence why Lightyear is at the very, very bottom. Because I thought about it. It was actually very hard to do. I thought about my bottom 2, and I'm like, okay, which one do I dislike the most? And it boiled down to, do I want to watch it again? And the one that ultimately won out of last place was the one that I would be willing to rewatch, and I just did not want to rewatch Lightyear ever again. I was that underwhelmed and that bored.
All right. So, my number 19 is. Well, I thought you were going to have your number 19 as. Mine is The Good Dinosaur.
That was my other one that I struggled with.
Yeah, because she often talks about how much she dislikes The Good Dinosaur. And I really don't like The Good Dinosaur that much either. And it's just like, one thing you mainly dislike about it is the art style.
Oh my god, it drives me insane.
How
it's
the dinosaurs
photorealistic.
look.
No, not even that.
Yeah.
It's the photorealistic backgrounds. Like any of the backgrounds in The Good Dinosaur do not look animated. No. They look like straight up drone photography. It's the most stunning background animation I think I've ever seen. And then the character models for the animation, it's like freaking Gumby. And that's no shade to Gumby. Gumby was delightful, but he was also literally made out of clay.
Yeah.
Like, these dinosaurs are so putty looking and so cartoony that to see them juxtaposed against these photorealistic backgrounds, theoretically it would work. Like, I could see what they were doing, but like, it does not work for me. It just makes me angry to look at. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just really...
Plus, it's just not that good.
No, yeah, it's just not that good.
It's just not that good.
Like, I personally just bored me a bit. It was like,
yeah.
And it's like, for me, if I find a movie, boring, it's like, why would I want to watch it again?
Well, to me, it was kind of like The Land Before Time, but like the discount bargain bin version with some human as pet thrown in for good measure. So, yeah.
Right. So that was our number 19. So we're going to mark here.
Number 19.
Good, number 19.
The lowest of the low.
All right. Number 18. What do you guys, your number 18?
That was The Good Dinosaur.
That is good. So we don't really need to go over that again because you just basically...
there was my piece right there, so...
So I think my number 18 might surprise you a bit.
Oh, yeah?
Cars.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd be surprised about how low Cars was, but like...
No, because like, I understand why.
I think it's one of the reasons why I've never watched the Cars sequels, even though I've heard, like, not just because I've heard the second one sucks, but like, because I've heard that the third one
was good.
Is good, but it's like, is it good in the same way that people think that the Cars one was good? Because to me, it's like a super overused thing of guy's a jerk, guy stops being a jerk, now we all supposed to love him. And like that gets used so often in movies of guy is jerk, guy does something redeeming, guy is no longer a jerk, everyone loves him. And I'm just like, you see it all the time in rom-coms.
Yeah.
And I've told you, I hate that in rom-coms where it's just like the guy is absolutely terrible and then does one small little thing usually, and suddenly the woman starts to fall in love with him after that one little thing. And I'm like, how does that one little thing negate all the bad stuff he did before? And yeah, it's just like, it
doesn't, because romance.
Yeah. But yeah, I just found Cars kind of boring and didn't really enjoy it that much.
That's fair. I don't agree, but I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a perfectly reasonable, like, yeah, I see it.
All right, so that's number 18.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 17. What do you got?
Number 17. I don't know how you feel about this.
Oh, boy.
For me, it's A Bug's Life.
Really? 17 is A Bug's Life for you?
Yep.
You want to know how I feel about that?
Did you say the same thing? 17
is A Bug's Life for me also.
And like, okay, so I feel like we should say too, just because we're ranking these low, apart from me genuinely not liking Lightyear,
like
they're not bad.
Yeah, like
because Pixar is so A tier as a company.
Yeah, like The Good Dinosaur. I would rather watch The Good Dinosaur again compared to a lot of other movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's just like, I often hate it when people are like, oh, so since that's number 19, you must think it's absolute hot garbage. It's like, no, I just like it less.
These are still fantastic films, even though they're technically
same with A Bug's Life. Like, it was a good film. Like, I liked it a lot when it first came out, but we didn't have, we had Toy Story and Bug's Life. That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
And so, like, when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is a great movie and stuff like that. But, like, that movie's been out for decades now. Man, that makes me feel old. And I've had no real urge to rewatch it at all.
Yep, same. I have nothing wrong with it. I think it's cute. It's great, but I have no desire to ever revisit it. Yeah. I will say, though, when I was a little kid, I, for some reason, was gifted a beach towel that had the I don't know what her name is. See, I can't remember the characters' names.
I know the main one was Flick.
Yes, Flick, but it was his girlfriend, the ant princess.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember her name, but I had a beach towel that had her on it, and even though I really wasn't that big of a fan of the movie, I loved that beach towel. Like, it was one of my favorite possessions for a very long time was this random Bugs Life beach towel. I remember using it all the time. So, fun fact. I don't know where it came from. It was a gift, I think, and I love that beach towel. Rest in peace, Bugs Life beach towel, wherever it ended up.
I feel like with a lot of the ones that I rank lower, it's because like the story is often not it's just like, here's this old tired trope, but with bugs.
Yeah.
And it's just like it doesn't.
Well, and again, because it was the second fully computer animated film of its like that was a big deal.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be a mind blowing story. It didn't have to be something spectacular because the medium in which it was produced already was spectacular, right? So like you don't need to have this incredibly creative, wow, genius story if you already have a groundbreaking medium in which you present your story.
All right. So you ready for number 16?
Sure.
All right. What do you got for number 16?
I feel like we're just repeating or rehashing. For me, it was Cars.
For you, was Cars?
But again, rewatchability. I would gladly watch Cars, rewatch Cars. I find it highly enjoyable. Even though objectively I don't think it's as good as the hype leads it to be. Like, I love Owen Wilson. I'm not gonna lie. Owen Wilson and then Larry the Cable Guy highly influence. Yeah, like highly influence my enjoyment of Cars. Like I also really was intrigued by how creative they really were in creating a functioning society with inanimate objects.
Yeah.
Like I was genuinely like, how in the heck are they gonna do this? Like, how is this ever going to work? When they first, advertised it. And then I was, like, shockingly surprised to see, like, how creative they actually were. So, like, for me, that's a major thing. So, one, the animation's stunning. Like, you could just, the light when it just goes on the body, the chrome of, it's so pretty. But then you have the animation, then you have the creativity of the world itself, and then the voice acting, honestly. Like, that's... I can listen to Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy talk all day.
Oh yeah,
it's delightful.
Like I said, it's like just for me, I just felt the story kind of bored me a bit. As I said before,
very basic. I get it.
Guy's a jerk. Guy, suddenly realizes, hey, I shouldn't be a jerk. Guy's no longer a jerk.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And for me, 16. Once again, kind of rehash. Our bottoms are kind of similar.
Yeah,
only with slight variations.
I'm surprised that we're kind of.
Mine's Lightyear for 16.
That high.
That high. That is. That's the fourth lowest one.
I know, but still.
So basically, all that means is that I
like Lightyear more than all of those.
Better than Cars, A
Bug's
Bug's Life, and Good Dinosaur.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Because I did kind of like with Lightyear. I did like the idea of them like doing the time travel. Like he's going through it. Everything, and he's focused too much on mission and stuff like that. I did greatly dislike how they did the Zurg thing.
Oh, that was stupid.
Yeah. For those who haven't seen Lightyear and are ignoring my spoiler warning, the way they or who have just forgotten because it was such a throwaway thing, Zurg turns out to be Buzz Lightyear from the future who has come back in time. And the reason he is called Zurg is that he has this army of robots that can pronounce the English language, but apparently have trouble with Buzz, and it comes out Zurg, and that's how he gets Zurg. And I was just like, seriously? There is dozens of different ways you could have explained why the old Buzz Lightyear was Zurg better than that. You could have just simply been like, he didn't want people to know it was him, so he chose a different name. Or, just saw it. Or that, like, the people created the name, some of that. Or, like, maybe it was written on the robots and they thought that was his name and they never actually met him.
The manufacturer.
Yeah. And a number of things you could have done that made more sense than just simply these alien robots that can say other English words, no problem, but Buzz, they have trouble with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like you said, like I I enjoyed Socks. I thought he was adorable and like loved just the comedy that they used with him and stuff like that. I did have a big complaint. I've heard the Buzz Lightyear for Wit nitpicks. Here's a small spoiler. One of my complaints is going to be the idea that the sandwich was different after 100 years. Sandwiches have stayed the same for several centuries, but for some reason, suddenly now we're going to change how the sandwiches to be incredibly,
impractical.
Basically, undoing the reason the sandwich was invented in the first place, which was to eat meat without getting your hands sticky. And like, oh, but the sticky hands are the best part. No, who thinks having sticky hands is a good thing? No one. All right, so if I ever do Buzz Lightyear, that's going to be one of the Wit nitpicks.
There you go.
All right, so that was number 16. How about I'm gonna find it funny if like our rankings still like stay pretty close to each other.
I think this is where they're going to start to they're going to start to change.
So what do you got?
I'm getting it. So okay. For context, friends, the way that I did this is I had 4 rankings for the films: Nope, Meh, Good, and Faves. So we have left Nope, and we are at the very end of Meh, and we are going into Good.
Okay.
So that should give you some kind of an idea of where we are. So we're
the way I did it was I just basically started with the one I knew was my favorite and just kind of worked backwards from there.
Oh, you worked backwards.
Yeah, I was like, this is my favorite.
Oh.
Now what's I started on the top and worked my way down.
I did the opposite. I started at Nope and went from there.
All right, so yes, this is number 15.
Okay, you're probably going to hate me for this.
Oh, boy.
You're probably going to think I'm the worst.
It better not be what I'm thinking right now.
Toy Story.
Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I am a bit surprised at Toy Story. I'm not gonna tell you where my Toy Story is on my list, but I'm gonna tell you this: that
it's way higher than mine.
It is way higher than what you got at number 15.
I bet a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, what the heck?"
Yeah, the OG Pixar movie.
Yep. It means a lot nostalgically speaking. Like I very much remember when this movie came out. Like very, very vividly remember it. And I loved it. Like, I don't dislike this movie at all.
Yes.
It's just when you compare everything that comes above it, I didn't know where else to put it. Because, like, again, I love it, but rewatchability, I'm not going to say, hey, let's watch Toy Story tonight. It's never going to come up. If you say, hey, you want to watch Toy Story? I'll say, sure. But I would never be like, hey, let's watch Toy Story tonight. And there's no rhyme or reason down just to personal preference.
Honestly, I feel like with a lot of these, it's very close. Like, I would say from, like, especially, like, my top 10 or, like, even my top 15, maybe, the difference between, like, say, the 15th movie and the 10th movie, very small difference. Like, we're talking, we're not talking huge leaps.
My whole good section is all like they're all the same. It's just one's a little bit better than the other for whatever reason I so choose.
So you might I have a feeling that my 15 is going to be way higher on your list.
I have a guess.
My number 15 is Onward.
Oh, okay. I know you don't like it as much as I do.
Yeah, which doesn't make that much sense because you would think, it's a fantasy world and some of that. You think I would love it, but I think one thing that just kind of bothered me is the idea of it's like, oh, we got technology now, we don't need magic anymore, and then we're just got free magic. It's like, it's still magic. It's still awesome. Like the idea that if we had real magic today, that we'd be like, no, but it was hard to learn. People would be like, no, I'm not. Like, look at today. You have people who are doing things the way they were done 1,000 years ago for fun. Blacksmiths.
Bookbinders.
Cheese makers.
Yeah.
Food preparation, stuff like that.
Again, though, those are very niche, specific art forms.
Yeah, but still, it's just like they still exist because people do find enjoy. Because it's kind of cool to see how they did it and stuff like that. The idea that
and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, the idea that magic. Making some, and like the kind of magic they had too is like, you know, oh well, we don't need to, you know,
Aloft, elevon.
yeah, we don't need to fly, you know. Well, and another big problem I had with that was the Pixies. The idea, so like in the movie, the Pixies like don't fly; they ride motorcycles, and they're like, yeah, your ancestors got lazy as you're just
You
like
calling me lazy?
and then like all of a sudden they get into a car accident, and they fly to stop themselves from falling, and it's like. Wait, are you telling me that no pixie has ever gotten into a car accident before, or has fallen before and instinctively flown until now?
This is so good.
And also, it's like, yeah, like I can understand a pixie going on an airplane to go across the country,
which they do.
Which
they
they do,
that. They show
yes.
that.
But the idea that they're just going to give up flying altogether, you know, it's just like, once again, people. We have cars, we have trains, planes. People still walk. People still ride bikes. Like, people still use older methods of transportation. And it's like, it's not as... Like I said, it's just the whole premise of, you know, magic was too difficult, so we just threw it all away. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. And also, like, the main character is a bit whiny for my taste.
Ian is whiny.
I am not a huge fan of whiny main characters.
And not charmingly whiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had plenty of character who's whiny that I love, but they're not annoying.
Mm-hmm.
At least I don't think they're annoying. And Ian borders on annoying.
It's not a border for me.
Yeah.
But, like, so another example is the Amazon series The Boys. I stopped watching that because
the Boys. Da Boys.
That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what you said it. Da Boys.
The Boys. Anyway,
sorry.
It was the main character in that is extremely whiny, and like also just swings from thing to thing. Like, oh, I'm having a good time. 2 minutes later, I am deeply depressed. 2 more minutes later, oh, and I'm back having a good time. I'm like. Does this guy have some type of disorder? Like, he is going from, you know, severe depression to best time of his life in a matter of minutes. But yeah, so like whiny characters can ruin a movie for me.
That's fine.
All right.
I get it. A lot of people did not care for Onward and were very like underwhelmed by it. But I won't go there. We'll get there later.
I feel like Onward was kind of the start of.
A lot of people say it was the start of Pixar's downfall.
Downfall. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even like to call it a downfall.
No,
just a shift down.
It's
because it's like
decline.
Because it's like you were going at going at full speed before. Now you're just kind of slowing down.
That was also the film that got released early from theaters onto Disney Plus because of the pandemic. That was the last movie I saw in theaters before the world shut down.
Yeah.
So. I think that is another reason why it influences me more. We'll get into that later. I'll tell you my onward story later. So anyway, where are we right now? We're at.
That was 15. Now we're at 14.
Okay.
So we're gonna find my 14. There it is. Okay.
Should I go next?
I'm gonna say we've been having you go first. Okay. So I like having you go first.
Again, I don't hate me. We're in good tier now. Like all these are good. So like there's no shade.
It's the internet, hun. There's always shade.
Okay. Monsters, Inc.
Really?
Yes. Again, okay, so I feel like I should also explain. So, not for this specifically, but like a lot of my lower ranked ones are the ones that came out when I was younger. Mm-hmm. So, that's not to say that their quality is not good. It's that how do I put this? They didn't impact me the way that Pixar movies impact me now as an adult. So my memories of that, even if I were to rewatch these films now and probably have a completely different experience, my liking for them is cemented in the time period in which I experienced it. So I liked Monsters, Inc., but I liked Monsters, Inc. as like a 9-year-old would. Do you know what I'm saying?
That might also be a bit like cause some of the difference between us because for those older. For those who don't know, I am 6 years older.
That's
than Lauren,
true.
so like when I watched it, it was in a different part of my life, so I could appreciate it at a different level than you could.
You did, and that's what it was for Monster. Yeah, because like I remembered like liking it, like how cool it was, but like like I said, I was probably like 8 years old, so it just for whatever reason didn't hit me the same way that other animated films had when I was younger. And I don't know if there was maybe a disconnect between CGI also, because like I had emotional impacts with a lot of films. Like, it's not that because I was young I couldn't appreciate film, because I did. Like, I very strongly did. But like, I don't know if there was like a disconnect for me between cell traditionally drawn animation and CGI. Now it's so ubiquitous, like everything's CGI, right? Like, you expect CGI. But back when then, I was either anticipating live action or a cell animation. I wonder if maybe there was some kind of, like, that transition took me a little while to warm up to it, maybe?
Maybe.
I'm just hypothesizing here. I don't actually know. But, yeah.
All right. So, my number 14, once again, I have a feeling this is going to be much higher on your list.
Yeah.
Was Soul.
Okay.
Once again, whiny main character. Because he, is constantly whining, like, I want to do this, but I shouldn't have done. Like, he whines quite.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he kind of does whine, and
yeah,
the whole, like, I don't know. It didn't really hit me. I love the idea of it was great. Like, I do, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I do like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, because I love the idea of, like, oh, hey, this is how we're portraying the afterlife and stuff like that. But it's just like, it just didn't really grab me that much.
That's fair. It took me a long time to warm up to Soul. I like it way better now than I did when I first initially watched it. Like, that movie has grown on me. So yeah, you're right. For me, it's much higher. But anyway, that makes sense. I get it.
All right, so that's number 14. We're not going through these very quickly, are we?
No, this is fun. I like this. We're doing fine.
I know. I was just looking at the time here. It's like,
this is to make up for all the months that we skipped an episode.
There you go. Bonus
material.
There you go. All right, so number 13.
Oh, God, you're going to hate me so much.
Oh, but is this what I was worried about last time?
No.
Oh, okay.
The Incredibles.
Really?
Yeah. Which is sad, because Brad Bird, man, you're going to see here later that Brad Bird is my man. But again, I was young, and like watching it now, it's way cleverer than I remember.
Yeah.
Like the job that he works in, the insurance, like that whole insurance scene. Oh my God! As an adult, I'm like, that is freaking brilliant. But I didn't get it. I wasn't jaded. I wasn't a grown up yet. I didn't understand it.
Well, I know, like for me, one reason I enjoyed it quite a bit was like the actual growth of the characters and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, no, it's a brilliant film. You know what the other problem, too, is? And I'm going to sound so terrible because I don't believe that this should be the case. But the movies that came out when I was younger, they were very, as opposed to Disney, that was very, like, princess, girls. Pixar was kind of like boy movies. Not that I believe in such a thing. But, like, at the time, you see monsters, superheroes, cars, bugs, like, toys, even, like, the cowboy and the spaceman. Like, none of those films really had subject matter. Not that it matters, because, again, those things are gender neutral. It doesn't make any difference. But, like, they were kind of, in my little kid, gender-conforming brain, very boy movies. And it's not that they turned me off. It's just that I was going to resonate more deeply with, say, I don't know, I can't think of it, like Little Mermaid. I'm going to resonate with Little Mermaid way more than I am Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
Or The Incredibles. Just because it was my lived experience at the time. And those movies were very much, to me, quoted more boy movie, gender neutral, than they were like, this is for girls. Like, again, not that it matters. Those were all just made-up constructs at the time in society. But I think it still impacted me.
Okay.
Because as you can see, as we go higher on this list, you can kind of see the themes starting to shift, and it's like, I see. Aha. Okay.
All right. So, you might be a little upset on my number 13.
I keep thinking it's going to come up.
My number 13 is Luca.
I didn't expect that. I keep expecting you to say a different one, and it's not the one I'm thinking.
I know which one you're thinking of.
Do you?
I think I do.
Really?
We'll find out when we come to it on my list.
Okay.
Anyway, because I have a feeling that on my list it's a lot. I have a feeling on your list is going to be higher than mine, so I have a feeling it's going to come up with me first. Anyway,
so is Luca because the plot is so simplistic?
not it is a
'Cause
it is a simplistic plot. Once again, main character is whiny. Luca's kind of a whiny kid.
Luca's not whiny. Alberto's the one who's annoying.
Alberto is annoying. I don't know, like
Luca's just a good kid.
yeah.
He's just scared.
But like I don't know, it just once again, like I love the idea of it and stuff like that, but it just didn't grab me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is execution a big thing for you? Like you like the idea, but like the construct is great, but the execution falls short.
I think that might be it.
Because it's like you say, magical premise,
yeah.
love it.
Well, like this one, too, the
Sea
idea.
monster boys, love it.
Yeah, sea monsters that look human, stuff like that. But just like the actual story behind it, like you said, it's a very weak story, and I think that's what it is for me. It
was very simplistic.
Yeah, what are you doing that catches me, that draws my interest? Now there were parts of that movie that did catch me and draw my interest, like. Just the one scene that really sticks out in my mind for Luca is when Alberto, sorry. I'm bad with names.
What's funny is I was like, wait.
Alberto shows that he's a sea monster, and then Luca then Luca's like, look, it's a sea monster, and just the look of pain in her, that did get me a little bit. That did get me, but it's just like, I feel like they focused a little bit too much on the girl being like, I'm gonna win the race and stuff like that, and I think maybe that's what lost me. That I don't know. It's very hard to tell, like, and that's the thing too about subjective lists like this is like, if I forgot this entire list and I had to remake it, I bet you that there'd be ones that moved around.
Really?
Yeah, like. They would probably still be in the general area, but like they might move up or down like one or two kind of thing, because it's just like how I was thinking of it in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, I completely understand. Mm-hmm. I don't disagree. I personally disagree, but I don't logically disagree. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I feel like Luca underwhelmed a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was hyped up to be a really cool thing.
Once again, it was after the drop-off point.
It was made exclusively during quarantine.
Yep. And
exclusively, I
think. And like, it was released on Pixar again.
Mm-hmm. On Disney Plus, you mean?
Oh, Disney Plus, yes.
Yes. It is Pixar.
Yeah.
Released on Disney Plus, yes. Anyway.
All right, so that was number 13. So now we are on to number 12.
Oops.
Oh. Looking away.
Sorry, hold on.
Looking away, not taking. Okay.
Which one?
Number 12, because that was number 13,
12.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for me, number 12 is Finding Nemo. Wow. Yeah.
That is surprising.
And again, love it. There's no reason other than
we just rewatched it not that long ago.
I know, and it's so cute and it's so quotable. Oh my god! Yep. Like how many people have like just quoted "Just Keep Swimming" and "Spoken Whale" and basically anything Ellen DeGeneres says. Yeah. Like it's such a good movie. And fun fact, I remember seeing a preview of it and thinking when it first came out, like I was in middle school when Finding Nemo came out, and I was like, that looks so stupid. I don't want to see it. I don't want to watch a movie about fish. And then I watched it banned.
Yeah,
there was like a weird day where we didn't have to. There was like no school, but there was school, like one of those weird days. And so we watched it in band class for whatever reason. And I was like, this movie's so good. So I completely got my face smacked with the no, trust Pixar. Because I've done that many a time. Like, that's stupid. And it's been like the best movie of all time.
I feel that's a thing. That was a thing with Pixar in its early days, where it was just like because their movies were so unusual for what kids' movies were back then. People often like, why would you want to go see a movie about bugs or about toys? Or
about fish.
Yeah, why would you want to see a movie about fish?
Oh, it's boring. Oh, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's like...
well, and they were so cryptic, too.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember Up? Like, Up's marketing? It's like, what the hell is this?
A lot of times you had no idea what it was.
They gave nothing away.
And you went to it to try to figure it out.
Yeah, you went to go see it because you're like, what in the heck was that?
Because back then, they did their marketing a lot better.
Uh-huh.
Which recently, they have done their marketing a lot worse, which brings to my number 12, Elemental.
Ah!
The newest movie.
I marked it way higher than you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Higher.
we're getting pretty close to the upper half.
Yeah,
now,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like I said, now we're getting into the part where I'm just like, they're all
good.
They're all good. They're very close. I enjoyed the heck out of Elemental.
It's so good.
It is like I would argue that of all the from this moment on, all these movies I do
put
like
it
them
so much higher than you.
Yeah, but like all these movies are movies I want to watch again.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't have any desire to watch The Good Dinosaur or Bug's Life again. I want to watch Elemental again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the marketing they did. So like with Up, they made you wonder like, what is this about? It made you curious. With Elemental,
it was the opposite.
It was they made it look like it was a movie that you could figure out the plot of it right away. It's like, oh, it's a love story. Fire,
water.
They can't mix. Oh no.
What if elements had emotions?
It's
what if we personify elements?
Yeah, it's like, two people who shouldn't be together, but they end up together.
Pixar's version of Zootopia.
And it's like they didn't do a very good job. And then like the main reason we went to see it in theaters was because there were YouTubers that we wanted to watch their reactions to it and like their videos on it,
their reviews, their opinions.
Because we
couldn't watch them because there were spoilers for the movie, and we're like,
even though we were kind of met on the movie, we didn't we don't want spoilers.
See it.
And so like, okay, let's go watch it. And also we're like, this is not like expectations were so low. Like my expectations going into this were probably like my expectation like
bottom 5.
Yeah, like I was thinking like, okay, this is probably going to be like Good Dinosaur or Lightyear or something. Yeah, it was going to be something like that where I'm like, okay, it's all right, whatever. That's what I was expecting.
It exists.
And then it's like I said, I would say from 12 up, these are all movies that I would watch not only again but like multiple times. And who knows, maybe the more I watch Elemental, it might go up higher on my list. I've only seen it the one time.
Yeah.
But like, I enjoyed it greatly. If you have not seen Elemental, go see it. Like I would have, the way I often describe it to people, like I've been telling people, I'm like, go watch this movie. And they're like, oh, don't look at it. No. Go watch this movie.
Give it a shot.
And I often tell them, I'm telling, all right, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do what the preview should have done and giving you an actual idea of what the movie's about. I was like, it's a story about children of immigrants. That's what I argue it is. It's a story about children of immigrants. And that is way more interesting than what they made it look like. And it's just like I said, with Up, they made you wonder what the movie was going to be about. With this one, they made you think it was like something else. And then it's like, oh no, it's not that, it's this. But it's like, yeah, but the something else you made us think it looked like was a movie we didn't want to see. That's not good marketing.
Right.
That's like
because the movie wasn't what the preview said, but that's the least important thing about it.
Yeah, that's the B plot.
That's literally the most uninteresting part about it.
Yeah, but like, it's kind of like if you had you were coming out with a new food, and you make you're like for the commercials of it, you make it look like the food is disgusting. You're like, surprise, it's actually delicious. It's like, yeah, but no one's going to want to go try your food because you're making it look disgusting. All right, so yeah, that's my little Elemental rant.
Yay!
Because like I said, I've been having this discussion with other people who like Pixar and stuff like, and they're like, no, I don't want to watch it. And like, if you go onto the internets, they a lot of people are like, no, this is and I think what it is like, I do agree that Pixar has been on a downward trend, and I think people are just labeling this because they're following that downward trend instead of
well, they're assuming that they're just assuming they know what it is.
Yeah.
They just think it's the same thing, a tired old thing that we've seen over and over and over again. But this is something I should say later, but I'm going to go ahead and say this now because we're kind of in this realm. The thing about when people say, we had this discussion, it's an old, tired, boring story. I've seen it a million bajillion times. I don't want to see it again. The thing with Pixar is that lately we have gotten stories that are coming from more diverse storytellers. So, yeah, maybe you have seen Elements Don't Mix or a Forbidden Love Story before, but you haven't seen it from a Korean immigrant's perspective.
Yep.
I get so mad about this. It's like, yes, have you seen can't keep having controversial relationship with my mother, so I'm going to turn into a giant red panda. Well, no, you probably haven't seen that exactly. But have you seen that before?
Yeah. It's like, it's mother-daughter conflict.
Mother-daughter conflict.
Yeah.
But have you seen it from a Chinese-Canadian woman's perspective? No, you haven't. So it's like, I get so mad when people say, it's been done before. It's been done by people who have had the spotlight for a very long time. So Pixar is doing its utmost to give the pencil and the microphone over to people who have stories to tell and have a platform to finally have a bunch of people listen.
I think that's why, like, remember how I said...
And Elemental is that story.
Well, with a lot of those ones that rank lower, I was like, this is kind of an old tired story, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was old tired stories, but it wasn't really told from a different point of view.
From old tired people.
Yeah. And it's like, so like some of these stories coming up here, like with Elemental, what's this? Forbidden Love or stuff like that. But with a new twist from a different perspective and stuff like that.
Not even a creative twist. We're talking like cultural diversity and inclusion.
And economic diversity.
Yes.
Because that's something I often, like, I feel a lot of people talk about is how in this movie, Ember is coming from a lower social economic standing, and Wade, like, she even mentions in it, like, you're a rich kid, like, you can afford to do this. My parents had to work hard for everything. They had to struggle, and it's like, how else can I repay this struggle? I did warn you about spoilers, and stuff like that. And so, like, that's
this
something I appreciate.
No punches.
Yeah, that's something I appreciate. It's like, I don't think they've really done, rich person, poor person that much in Pixar.
No, I mean, if they have, it's been subtle and kind of throwaway. It hasn't been like an actual central conflict for any of the main characters involved. So,
all right, so that was number 12.
Yep.
So for number 11, what do you got?
Now you can hate me for real. Now the time has come.
The thing I've been dreading.
The time has come.
All right.
Wally. I'm sorry. I don't love it as much as you do. I'm sorry. That's not to say I don't love it.
I know.
Like, I love
11 is pretty high. 11 is pretty high. It's not
like halfway.
Not quite halfway yet.
Almost.
That's still in the lower half, but
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I have nothing against it. In fact, it actually was the most brilliant horror film I'd ever seen. Because of the idea that, like, we're on that trajectory, and it could very easily not be fiction. It's very hard hitting.
It's futuristic.
It's very hard hitting dystopian.
Nonfiction.
It's one of those dystopians that could easily be moved to the current events shelf in a bookstore. So it's brilliant. I have no shade. It's a masterpiece. I just like other stuff better, and that's another thing. A lot of these films, especially as I get higher up on my list, I know objectively that some of my lower end ones are objectively better films. Like, made better, crafted better, better writing, better story, what have you. For whatever reason, it's just, for me, I am an emotional human being. And all of these top tier levels, they speak to me on a deep, visceral, emotional level.
Like I said, these are subjective lists. We are not movie critics. We are not movie analysts. Like, if we were like professional, not a movie.
You could be.
I'm not even really criticizing movie. I'm just pointing out stuff that doesn't make sense in my nitpicks.
Yeah, but you're more. I mean, I don't know.
Like,
we both are pretty good.
If we were professional movie critics,
it would be one thing.
Yeah, we would be judging this on the merit of the movie itself, not how it makes us personally feel.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is. This is our personal enjoyment of the movie, personal desires of the movie. And so that's why, like, I understand that you're not going to rate Wall-E as high as I am. And
there's no reason for, like I say, I just like these other films before it more. That's the only reason where it is where, in fact, I struggled with, like, we're definitely in the good section now. So it's all just, like you say, there's one tiny little reason as to why this one's higher than that one. And that's just that we're at that part for me. For
me, number 11 was Coco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I did enjoy it. Yeah,
okay.
I did. What now I don't feel like I'm justifying why it's so low, because like I said, we have reached, like, to use your terminology, you had the good, you had the bad, the meh, and the good.
Nope, meh, good, faves.
Yeah, so I would also say that we're in the good section. We're in good section for me, because I've watched Coco multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and I do enjoy it. Like you said, it's just I enjoy these other movies better.
Yeah.
I mean, with Coco, I loved how colorful it was, and
Yeah.
like how they portray.
Beautiful.
I also find it funny how it's like, there's Coco, and then there's also the Book of Love,
Life, yeah.
the Book of Life, it's just like
two very different films.
Yes,
and yet revolve around the exact same Mexican tradition holiday. Yeah, it's interesting.
But yeah, like I do also like the twist in it about how he thinks one, and it turns out the other one. It's not a very difficult twist, but
no, but it still makes you go,
yeah. Like I argued that the twist of who his grandfather or great grandfather is isn't as big as the twist of how what's the great grandfather's name again?
Huh?
The one with the gimpy leg that is trying to get his picture. Hector. How Hector really died. To me, that was the bigger twist.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all. Where it's just like, because I'm like, okay, I feel like the twist of who his grandfather actually wasn't kind of
that big of a twist.
Was kind of almost a red herring
to the real twist.
Twist, because you're so focused on like he's like trying to get him, and it's like you can kind of feel it's like, okay, he's gonna finally meet him, and it's not gonna be his grandpa or something.
Something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah,
you don't know but you know it's not gonna work.
You don't really even think about how did Hector die.
Yeah,
that
he's just dead.
Yeah, they make how he died as a throwaway joke, and so you don't think. And then all of a sudden you get to this, and you're like, oh my, I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's
5 minutes ago I thought I was related to a murderer.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's just like that twist I liked so much better than the other twist.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yep, it is a good movie.
All right, more good movies.
So that was number 11.
Yeah.
All right, we're in the top 10 now.
Oh my god.
Okay. So what is your number 10?
My number 10 is Soul.
Soul.
Yep. Again,
which was
Soul,
my number 14.
Yep.
So relatively close.
Soul, like I say, it took me a few rewatches before I genuinely was like, I love this. This is good. It was just like, I don't know. It was very mature.
Yes.
And not in a like, oh, this is Pixar, therefore we're going to have deep, emotional, profound storytelling. It was just, it didn't feel like a kid's movie. It felt like it was meant for adults. Like, I was trying to think, like, what elements were for kids? I'm like, well, Joe gets turned into a cat, and then, like, maybe the cute little souls in the great before, or whatever. Like, maybe that would, but, like, ultimately even thinking that, I'm like, this doesn't really, I feel like when a kid would watch this, they would be bored.
I feel you had the same thoughts on Elemental. How you felt like when we watched that in theaters,
I'm like,
there were kids.
The kids were silent.
The kids basically were, us adults, we were laughing all the time.
We were laughing the whole time, but they were
the
just
kids
like...
were just, kind of quiet. Like, a lot of the jokes went over their head. They were a little too subtle for them and stuff like that.
And, like, not inappropriate, but, adult jokes. Like, things that adults would find funny. Not that kids would find funny, because they don't get it yet.
And so, I think that's another reason why that movie hasn't done so well, is because...
It's not a kid's... movie.
It's
not that a kid's movie has to be kiddish.
No,
but you're right. It feels more tailored specifically to adults. That's how I felt about Soul.
Or teenagers.
Teenagers, yeah. And I felt like Soul was like objectively like this could very well be very boring for some people, even though the premise is so interesting and so abstract and artistic and cerebral. It was, oh my god, the scene at the end when he's just like that, they're outside the apartment, they're looking up and the maple squirts are coming down and the sun, like, that is one of the most breathtakingly beautiful scenes in animation that I've ever seen. Like, it's stunning. And, like, I love the fact that they had, cultural specialists come in to make sure that it was an authentic representation of, like, the black community. Like, it was in Harlem? Does he live in Harlem?
I'm not sure. I know he lives in the New York area.
We'll say Harlem-ish. So, like, to have that, like, just, knowing that that inclusion, trying to get that storytelling, like, that was, I feel like, one of the other major steps towards, like, here's a story that we're going to tell, but we're trying to open our umbrella wider to give more voices a chance to have the... But again, we run into the problem how Joe is a little blob as opposed to a black man for like 90%, kind of like Princess of the Frog, where she's a frog more than she is a princess human. So there's that. But anyway, we just brushed that under the rug. No, I thought like it tried. I felt like it tried to be Inside Out in a different way, and it succeeded to an extent. But there was just something, even though I really, really love it, it's just not good enough to like breach the top, you know, like it's just a little bit lower in the good section. It's not a fave, but it's definitely one of my. It's rewatchable. Like I said, I've rewatched it.
I honestly
many
thought
times.
I thought it was going to be higher up on the list for you than that.
No,
so that I find that
good.
interesting.
It's very good, but it's just there's something about it. There's something that's like physically barring it from being better, and I'm not sure what that thing even is. But I like I say, I've rewatched it many times, so it's definitely not a good one for me.
All right. So for my number 10 is Brave.
There it is. That's what I kept expecting you to say. It's like, oh, you're gonna hate me for this. I figured it was gonna be Brave. Yeah.
Because so like I mean, hey, got to my top 10.
Hey, I'll take it. A lot of people did not like Brave.
I think that's because...
It makes me so sad.
Well, I think it's because it's Pixar's version of the Princess movie.
Yes,
and
but it was not that at all.
It was not really that. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't like it.
Not like other girls.
Because they were like expecting to go into it like other princess movies.
Which is problematic in and of itself. But anyway, yes. No, yes.
But yeah, I love that.
Just not as... Doesn't hit you the same way as others?
Once again, we're getting into good category here. So like... The difference between number 10 and number 7, very very small increments that we're talking here. So like, no, I love this movie. I love the the triplet sons that get into trouble, and
how does Schubert and Hamish?
You are so good with names. I didn't even know they actually had names.
Hamish.
But I like how the dad is like. He's such a good dad.
I feel like Fergus is like the Bandit of Pixar dads.
Yes, that's a good. For those who don't know, Bandit is the dad in the children's show Bluey,
and he's best dad.
Yeah.
Period.
And like
best dad.
Like the mom character.
Chili is best mom, but she's still mom, right? Like she's just still got to be a little more distant, like a little more like I'm the parent, not like the one who's always having fun. Chili is best mom. Bandit is best dad.
But like going back to Brave here.
Oh,
sorry.
I thought you were.
No, I wasn't talking about Chili. I was talking about the mom in Brave.
Oh,
Queen.
well, Eleanor.
Yes, Eleanor.
Eleanor.
How like she's doing what she thinks is best, and like this movie, I mean, you could kind of call Mordu the villain, but it really doesn't have a villain. Mordu's more an obstacle than a villain.
Yeah.
And so like with a lot of these Pixar movies that don't have what I consider a traditional villain, it's usually more of a
generational trauma.
Well, there's that, but like
family conflicts.
Can I say my answer now?
No, I'm gonna keep guessing. No, just go ahead.
That instead of a villain, they simply have a conflict or an issue, whether it be family conflict or internal conflict, something like that. That being the main, bad guy, and how, and I've always, like I said, the mom's not the bad guy, but she's the antagonist, and I've always loved an antagonist who truly believes they're doing the right thing, not someone who's like pretending that they're doing the right thing, but what they're really doing is for themselves. But like 100% believes I'm doing what's right here, and then discovering that they are wrong.
Yeah,
I really like that in an antagonist character, and I feel that the Queen,
Eleanor.
Thank you. I feel like
it's your wife, Eleanor. I'm sorry.
Like that really is one of the strongest Pixar versions of that. Someone she believes she's doing what is right for her daughter.
Well, she says that.
Yeah,
like
this. I'm doing this for your own good. I'm terrible at that. I apologize to all the Irish people.
They're not Irish.
Scottish people. I now apologize to all.
Oh my god.
British Isles people and Scotland people, all Europeans. I now apologize to.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh wow, that devolved the best way possible. Wow.
But yeah, like, and yeah, what you said, like you said before, Pixar show an old story, but from a different point of view. Like, this is a princess story, but in the past, princesses have always been like English or French or something like those kind of things. And to see what one might be from the Scottish type of tradition. Did I say it right one at a time?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm so confused right now.
You know, just to see it from, what royal, what they, how they view the royalty, like how the king is so
like
crass.
how medieval lifestyle really would be.
Yeah.
Not like a cute, fluffy, beautiful, polished medieval Renaissance, but like an actual medieval story, right?
Yeah, like this guy, why is this guy king? Because he's the biggest, baddest guy who,
because
everyone
he fought and beat everybody else.
Everyone respects him because if they don't, he's gonna, punch your lights out. And stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's more what it was like back then. And like, might made right. And, Merida has to basically use that same thing when her dad's trying to kill her mom as a bear. And she basically defeats her dad, showing, I am, basically doing the might is right. I'm going to defeat you, defeat you here to show you that I am right and you are not going to do this. All right, so I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
Yep. All right. So now we're on to
number 9, right?
Single digits. Number
Woo-hoo!
9. All right. So what is your number 9?
Mine is Coco.
Okay, so pretty close to mine. We're only a couple off. Coco was 11 for me.
So not only again, we kind of touched on this before, but gorgeous, stunning animation, but also cried like nobody's business. We're getting up into my levels where it's like the amount of crying and the amount of feels is gonna that's gonna rank something. If it makes me cry, it goes automatically high ranking. Like if it makes me genuinely feel anything. So that's why Coco is as high as it is.
Okay.
Also, Hector is just... Yeah. Frida, oh my god, Frida's whole sequence makes me laugh so hard. All my art major friends, if any of you are tuning in, freaking funny, peak art humor.
So for those of you who are not in the art community, like me, like people who are like me, didn't realize that's based off a real person.
Yeah, last time we rewatched it, I paused and I was like, you know who Frida Kahlo is, right?
And I'm like, wait.
And he's like, what?
Wait, that's a real person? And she goes, yes. Yeah. I'm like, I had no idea. I thought this was something Pixar had made up. I was like, no, not only is she a real person, but apparently they did an awesome job portraying her.
It was just delightful. It was just great art humor. So yeah. Right. I don't know what else you can say. Like, Coco's great.
Yeah.
Go watch Coco.
I feel that's going to happen a lot here now when we get to stuff that, you've already talked about because I've ranked it.
Also, Miguel is a really good child character.
Yes.
He's so believable as a kid, but he's not, an annoying kid. Not that kids are annoying, but, cartoon kids... Stop it. Cartoon kids are often depicted as, it is a child, therefore it is annoying. Or super, super cute. And it's no, Miguel is a very adorable, believable little kid. I like him as a 10-year-old boy and as a character. He's a good character.
Yep.
And Hector's awesome.
Alright, so...
And my mini fridge! And my femur! Where's my femur, Hector? Anyway, sorry. I'm not actually sorry. All the times I've said sorry, I'm not actually.
So, my number 9... I'm not sure how much you're going to be upset.
Oh.
That's not higher. But my number 9 is Turning Red. Excuse me.
No, that's fair.
That's much higher than what you put Wally.
I know.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, I love Turning Red. It is awesome. I feel like one of the reasons this is probably not higher for me is because I was never a teenage girl. As far as I know, honestly, I've never been a teenage girl. So I can appreciate it, but it's not going to hit me the same way as it hits you because you've lived through that. So obviously it's going to hit you harder than it hits me. Kind of like how, this is not a Pixar movie, but how Encanto hits me harder than it hits you.
Yep.
Maybe someday we'll do the Disney rankings.
Ooh, my God, that's a lot.
Well, no, with no sequels though.
Yeah, but still a lot of movies.
That's still a lot of movies.
That's Disney versus Pixar.
That might be a two-parter.
Ah, okay.
That might be a two-parter. But anyway, yeah. So, like, I enjoyed it greatly. Like, I loved how normal how not normal in the fact that she's not normal. That they
like teenage girls are weird.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Just kids are weird to begin with.
Kids are weird. Teenage girls are especially weird.
Exactly. It's just
and the flavor of weird that they portrayed in the girls was fantastic.
And it's one that's usually that flavor of weird girl is portrayed to be like
the freak.
wacky sidekick or free outsider, not the main character.
True.
And so it's very rare that you get that as a main character and they stay that, because usually if your main character is like that, then they go through a transformation where suddenly their frizzy hair is straight and they're no longer wearing glasses and now they're beautiful and normal. It's like,
how dare you call out Princess Mia like that? Rude.
Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
Beside the point.
But yeah, and so it's like, she starts weird and she ends weird. She is herself the entire movie.
Arguably, that's the entire theme of the film.
Yeah, exactly. It's being yourself. And it's just like, the only change she really goes through is how she represents herself around her mother. Mm-hmm. And so like that, yeah, I love this movie quite a bit. I have a feeling you're going to be talking about it a lot more when we get to it on your list, because for those paying attention, we have not gotten to it yet on her list. All right, so that was number 9.
Yes.
All right, so now
we're getting the good stuff now.
Well, we got into the good stuff a while ago.
I know, but yeah, now we're really cooking with heat. So number 8.
Number 8. What do you got for number 8?
Up. Yep.
Really? I was expecting that higher
that
for
low?
you. Yeah. That's true. Like we're in single digits now.
Low?
I'm like, that low?
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Yes. Which is funny because, like, again, one of the most quotable films of all time, quoted it so much.
I just met you and I love you.
I love you. Basically, anything like Dory, anything that Doug says, is quotable. Russell too, to an extent. Kevin's a girl. It's so good. The first 20 minutes.
Also, like,
need we say more?
One of the hardest hitting, like, other than finding
Nemo,
yeah, like Finding Nemo, I think, has the fastest gut punch of any Pixar movie.
Agreed.
But like,
Up
is a close.
I would argue that Up punches you even harder.
It punches harder,
but
not as soon.
Not as soon, but it's a harder punch for sure.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean,
it is
having.
for me.
I mean, yeah, for personal, yeah, but like also, your wife dying versus your wife and almost all of your children dying.
I know it should hit harder, but it doesn't. And maybe it's because it's a human experience instead of a fish. I don't know.
So like, with fish, you're like, okay, yes, this is a hard experience.
But it's also fish.
It's circle of life,
Right.
Right. Wrong thing. Anyway, but yeah, it's just like fish eat fish. That's just how it goes.
Whereas,
but like this is like, this
man, woman fall in love, live happy life until one of them dies.
Well, also the scene. One thing I'll probably go into this a little bit more when it's my turn to talk about it. But like, I just want to mention about, while it's still fresh in my head here, the scene where they do the show not tell. Because I am a huge fan of show not tell. I love it when a movie very well portrays elements that you can figure out just by watching a movie, and basically it makes you feel, as a viewer, makes you feel smart, because it's not the movie telling you this is what's happening. You figure out what's happening from what the movie is showing you, and it makes you feel smart.
Context clues.
And the scene where like basically you discover that they've been trying for a child and she is infertile, and like, at least the way the reactions are, I feel she's infertile, not he's.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, she can, and they're working through it. So like that now, after the two of them meet at the after the movies and stuff like that, the whole thing it's all show don't tell, because there's no dialogue. It's all music and seeing what's going on, and it's just one of the hardest hitting scenes in all of Pixar. Just them doing that, and then also afterwards where he finally gets to take something. That's also like basically it's kind of a 1-2 punch. You're like, they're trying to have a child, they can't. Bam. Okay, they're slowly getting better. Okay, they're accepting their lives, and then wife dies. Bam. It's like, give me some time to recuperate.
No, never.
All right. So we'll see. I lost track. That was your number 8.
Yeah.
My number 8, Finding Nemo.
Ah.
So we
gut punch for gut punch.
Yes.
Hey.
Both gut punches.
Okay.
But this is a great movie. Like you said, that's why I was a little shocked that it wasn't higher up for you. But
it's just like other stuff better, man.
Yeah, I can see. Like I said, it's basically choosing your children kind of thing. Where it's just like you're not supposed to pick a favorite, but you got a favorite. And yeah, I greatly love this movie.
It's so good.
Just the concept of one thing I really like about this movie is the growth of Marlon. We talked about this when we last watched it. How he is coming from a place of protection and stuff like that, and just gradually figures out what he's been doing wrong the entire time, stuff like that,
and not only figures it out, but then changes his actions accordingly.
Yeah,
which is huge for anybody, especially an adult.
One reason I didn't like Finding Dory is because he kind of goes backwards a bit.
Reverted a little bit.
I hate that in sequels when all of a sudden they're like, okay,
we needed this character to be like this, so I guess there goes all their hard work.
Yeah, they're unlearning this lesson.
Development.
We're not going to go all the way back to the beginning, but we're going to take a few steps back.
Which, to be fair, progress isn't linear.
No,
but
it's
to
just,
your point.
Yeah, it's just like, it kind of diminishes what they went through in the beginning.
Yeah, I get that.
All right. So that was number 8.
Yes.
Number 7.
Onward.
Yep, I knew you were gonna. So this is probably one of our big differences. Since Onward was number 15 for me.
Yeah, I know. That's a pretty steep difference. No, I like Onward a lot. First, again, quotable. I mean, my God, how many times do we quote it? And the fact that you don't even like it that much, yet you still quote it so often.
I mean, really, the only part I really quote is
merge.
You'll never be ready, merge, and that's when we're driving.
Just that line though, you'll never be ready, merge. I mean, there's again, we're talking about. Okay, I'm getting all misty-eyed now. We're talking emotion at this point. So yes, was I a little underwhelmed by the concept when it was pitched the way that it was? Yes. Was it exactly the movie that I expected it to be? No. Do I still just really love Barley and his mom and Colt? Do I just love what we got out of it regardless? Yes I do. This is weird, I don't know, but Barley means a great deal to me. And I don't know exactly why, other than he is, talk about good characters. I mean, and also very realistically portrayed characters, because I just feel I know that guy. Yeah. Everyone knows that guy, right?
I think one reason we love Barley is because he isn't afraid to be himself. Yeah. He is unapologetically himself.
Well, he's a sweet guy.
The only time he feels any amount of shame for who he is when his brother basically kind of reveals that he thinks he's a screw up. Right. And that is the only time he shows any amount of shame. Is when he's like, my brother thinks I'm a screw up. Right.
But there's just something about even his body type, everything about him, just I love him so much. And the fact that he never once is upset and jealous of Ian for being the one who has magic, even though he's the expert, he would probably do anything to have that power and ability. He never once is bitter or jealous about it. He just 1,000% supports Ian. And it's just I don't know, I honestly he's the heart of the movie, and I just love him so much. And I love the mom too, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, mom's great.
Mom is so great. She is such a well fleshed out, you can tell that their mom is a character by herself. She's not just Ian and Barley's mom. This woman clearly is her own person. She has her own life. She has her own passions. She has her own interests. She is a fully fleshed out character, even though she is the mom. And that's like just super meaningful as well. Like that kind of representation is so important, I feel. Like for women and for older women and for mother women, for mothers, mother women, like,
Yeah.
so I guess for me it's a character driven story and it's a character driven love. That's why I like Onward so much.
I think one thing I do like about Onward is how the brother dynamic is a lot different from what you usually get in movies.
Yeah.
In movies, a lot of the times, brothers tend to be antagonistic against each other.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
very
a more
rare.
fuzzy.
Or one is antagonistic against the other. Like, it's very rare that you see, such
love and support and,
right from the beginning.
And, embarrassing the heck out of your brother, but that's like part of the territory.
Yeah.
It comes with the terrain. It's fine. So yeah, I really like Onward. And again, like I feel like it came at a very emotional time in my personal history. So there's like memories tied with it as well. So like a lot of these films too have to do with like when I experienced them at the time I experienced them in my own personal life. That makes them even more.
So my number 7 is Inside Out.
Ah!
Yep, finally got to Inside Out. Which I'm sure is going to be higher on your list. But I mean, we're getting...
but that's high.
Yeah, it's high, because, I love Inside Out.
That's really high, yeah.
Yeah. Don't look at the list.
I'm not. I can't read your handwriting anyway.
For those listening on Spotify, I'm giving her a look. Anyway, I love you too. On Inside, I just, it's a good story, and... I love Riley as a character.
Even though we don't really get to see her do much.
No, but
ironically,
how well it portrays the struggle of a kid going to a new school and stuff like that, and basically, if you didn't have the inside part of Inside Out, the emotion, because the idea of all these emotions, that Riley's feeling are happening because of what the characters are doing inside her head. But if you didn't know about the characters inside her head, everything she's doing makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Because that's something they could have very easily screwed up, of having her act in a way that was unusual because oopsie, I pushed the wrong button or something like that, done something like that. But even when they're making mistakes in her head, her reactions by looking in the real world makes sense with what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it's I think that's what I like a lot about it, is how even though even though it's little people in your head are controlling emotions, it still makes sense.
Right. It's not just slapsticky and funny and they didn't take the Looney Tunes.
Yeah. And once again, very interesting concept, and they executed it greatly, and I do feel it's kind of a story that isn't told very, because you don't really hear, I guess
I feel like it's the concept itself isn't that original, but but it's still something you don't see very often. I don't know how how that can be true.
But I think in the 90s they did a few movies like this, because it was stuff like that, parents getting divorced and kids movie and stuff like that were things that were often portrayed in the 90s movies. Yeah. But they kind of stopped doing that.
It feels old and new, but not tired. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird combo, but yeah. All
right.
No complaints.
So that was number 7.
Yes.
All right, number 6.
Brave.
All right, it's pretty close to where I am. Brave. Yep. And we kind of went into Brave before. Is there any other things you want to cover with Brave?
What's funny about Brave is some people, and by some people I mean some women, which I feel like the story was more geared towards simply because it deals with a mother-daughter relationship. It's not that men can't enjoy it, but the story is very specifically tailored towards a female audience.
Yeah.
And I feel like with men who don't relate with it, I understand. But with women, a lot of people I've talked to were like, yeah, I didn't really get Brave. I didn't really understand what Brave was going for. And I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, I don't have that kind of relationship with my mom at all. And I'm like, that was my relationship with my mom. are you kidding? I've never felt more seen in my life.
Yeah, so it's like
It's a very specific niche of family dynamic, and I think that's what makes it suffer. Even though it's so good for those of us that it resonates with, for other people, it's like, what was that? What did I just watch? That was weird. I don't. What do people like this? The answer is yes. People are very much like this, and some of us, I should say. But yeah, no, Brave hit me very emotionally, and not only did it like remind me of my relationship with my biological mother, but it came out during a time when I was still developing my relationship with my stepmother as well. And not that there was ever any problems or anything, but like it was still like a learning curve dynamic. It was a constantly mercurial changing dynamic between the two of us, and kind of trying to figure out like how do we relate to each other, like what is our relationship. So just the overall theme of moms and how we relate to them and how they relate to us, and you know, what was relevant to them and what's relevant to us, and what they care about, what we care about, what's best for us, what's not best for us. Like that whole narrative is just great. And I have Scottish heritage, so I'm obviously going to be very, very.
I thought it was Irish.
Yeah, no, I'm very partial. I'm Irish too.
Yeah.
But I just resonate with this movie deeply, aesthetically, culturally, just because I have Scottish heritage, and it just speaks to me on that level as well. Also, like Fergus is best dad. Like Fergus reminds me a lot of my dad, actually.
I can see that,
and that's a compliment. Like my dad is very much like Fergus, so I think that also helped. Like I'm seeing my own family dynamics in Scotland. Like it just seemed very relevant. Yeah, it just made a lot of sense. I don't have the hair though. I would give anything for Merida's hair. I'm not gonna lie. I love her hair.
A little twirl in front.
Yeah. And archery, man. Who can say no to archery?
Yeah. So my number 6 was Monsters Inc.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Monsters Inc. Because once again,
and if you go by the Super Carlin brother theory, that's the same movie. We won't explain.
No.
Just know that Brave and Monsters Inc. in one version of this are related.
Yeah. So just a quick explanation. There's a theory in the Pixar fandom that all Pixar movies exist in the same universe and on the same timeline. It's just
we love you, Ben and Jay. We're sorry.
Yeah.
We're being sassy.
Like, as the movies have been coming out, I have been disliking this theory more and more, and it's just like they've been they've been stretching things harder and harder to try and make it fit, and it just doesn't. Anyway, so yeah, Monsters Inc. Like once again, like a great original premise is like scaring, why do monsters, because it's like it basically asks the question,
why are there monsters under the bed?
Why do monsters scare kids? And it's just like at no point did anyone go like, you know what, I think the reason monsters scare kids is to provide energy for their society. It's a lot of sisters. For their society. And it's just like also the dynamic of monsters actually being afraid of kids because they think they're toxic and stuff like that. Like it is such a good movie. I love this movie so much. And like this was one of the first movies where Pixar was really impressing me with their animation, because like Sully's fur in the one scene that's always stuck with me when it comes to computer animation was the scene where they get thrown into the Himalayas and Sully is in the snow and you can see his fur just blowing in the wind. When I first saw that, I'm like, whoa, that looks like it's an actual, like something in real life, like an actual guy in a furry suit lying in the snow with his fur blowing around. Like that's what it looks like to me. And it's just like, I was so impressed with the animation in that movie.
It was good.
And obviously they've only gotten better since then, but I feel like that was the first time that I really got hit like, wow, this looks real.
Also Randall with his shifting, his like camouflage blending into backgrounds. Like I was impressed by that.
Yeah, that was also impressive.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just a great movie, great comedy in it, and stuff like that. Look at Kitty, stuff like, and like the scene when
great voice acting too.
Yeah, but the scene when Sully like scares Boo.
Oh yeah.
And like just the like Pixar does so good at showing emotion through computerized faces, because the look of realization on Sully's face when he sees Boo's reaction and that looks at the TV monitors of what he was doing and stuff like that, and realizing what they have been doing to children for how many years.
Yeah.
Like I love that movie so much.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. All right, so that was number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5.
Luca.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a bit of a difference from where I put Luca.
Luca, for me, is like... I'm a very season person. Like, when a certain season comes, like, I want to, like, immerse myself in media that, like, reflects that season.
Mm-hmm.
And Luca is, like, the epitome of summer. Like, everything about it is so summer, and it's so warm. And, like, you just know how that movie feels. It's like Mamma Mia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whenever I watch Mamma Mia, it's like, oh, God, I just want to be there so badly. Because you can smell the sea, you can feel the air, you can feel the sun on your skin when you watch that movie. It's so good. And, like, God, where do I even start with? Yes, is Luca simplistic? Yes. Is Luca underwhelming? You could argue yes. Yes, it is. Is the animation, like, the art style, is it for everybody? Maybe not. It's very stylistic. And I will die on the hill that I would have preferred Luca to have been hand-drawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the CGI doesn't work. I think they did a fine job with it, but you can just look at... Well, if you look at the end credits, and you see all the hand-drawn things, like, it's so charming. It's so much more charming as a hand-drawn thing, and it reminds me so much of La Luna, which was a Pixar short. The art style... I swear to God, the Maximo is the exact same design as the dad in La Luna. If you haven't seen the two, if you're interested... Watch those two things side to side. I'm telling you. They just straight up said, what art style should we use? Hey, let's use La Luna. Seriously. And they're both Italian, too.
Yeah. And that also, speaking of Maximo, once again it shows a good dad
Good dad.
character.
Yes.
Where it's just like,
yes.
you know.
Also, kid of divorce.
Yes, yeah. Showing representation.
Yeah.
Like, kid of divorce. But, like, they don't really push in your face. That's not... You know, her entire character.
Nope, but
it's just part of her character.
Another thing she deals with is coming
show don't tell.
But coming to Poderoso every summer to be with her dad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I love the dynamics, the friend dynamics, and like this one hit me so hard emotionally because it had come out just after I had gone to Tennessee to see my girls' annual, like we had our annual girls trip, and when I came back, I built that bookcase over there. And I watched Luca, and it just, I was not expecting to cry, because again, I'm like, well, Pixar's not doing the gut punch, it's just gonna do a cute little sea monster movie in the summer, yay! And then we got to the last, like, 10 minutes, and I just sobbed. And I still do. I still sob. Like, the ending of Luca gets me every single time. For as silly of a little film as it is, I just sob every time I watch the ending of it, because that relationship between Alberto and Luca is just the most beautiful depiction of friendship I have ever seen. And, like, depending on how, like, there's a lot of debate as to how you want to interpret that relationship, but regardless, it is pure love, and there's growth, and there's learning, and there's, on both their parts.
Yes.
And, like, Luca's a very relatable kid. I was very much like Luca. I didn't want to break the rules. I didn't want to disappoint my parents. Like, I was very much that scared... can't do anything wrong little kid, and then like needed people to help, you know, bring me into who I was supposed to be, and like that's very much what Luca is, the story, I mean. So I really like Luca. I really do.
Shit, what number are we on?
It's very rewatchable.
5, right?
Yeah. Top 5! Oh my gosh!
Top 5?
Yeah, top 5, didn't even realize it.
Yep, we're in top 5.
So Luca and
Ratatouille. Finally, you know.
Yay! You put it that high. I'm so happy.
High. Way higher than you put Wally.
I know. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I love Ratatouille. You know, I'm a big Patton Oswalt fan. I love his stand. In fact, we actually saw Patton Oswalt live.
Yeah, how weird it is to hear Remy the Rat saying really crude things. It's bizarre. It was unnerving to me.
But yeah, so like, yeah, I just love this scene, and you know, like, once again, it's an interesting premise. You know,
what if Rat could cook?
Yeah, you know, like what if a rat?
What if Herman could be in 5-star restaurants?
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, the conflicts. It is so good. It's just an amazing movie, And I feel anything I can say about this would not do it justice compared to what you're going to say about it later on.
Oh, I didn't have a spiel prepared. Now I'm nervous.
Well, you didn't have a spiel prepared for any of these.
That's fair. Yes, but Ratatouille, like we know how Ratatouille is going to fall for me.
Yeah,
it's quite high.
You don't, but we do. You might have been able to pick up on context clues because we're showing, not telling. No, well, eventually we'll tell. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, the comedy in there is great, and it shows actual growth. And I love the critic, Anton.
Ego.
That's the ego. Mm-hmm. I love him as the villain. He's such a good.
Well, again, there's a different villain situation where he's not the only villain.
Yes, he's not the only
villain.
And
he's not the real villain.
Yeah.
Either.
I
would argue Skinner's the villain. Yeah. Chef Skinner.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, there's basically, but like also like how Ego is like not doing this because he has anything. He believes he's in the right.
Yeah.
Once again, he thinks he is right. He is doing what has to be done, stuff like that, and realizing where he has gone wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number 5.
Okay.
Number 4.
Elemental.
Wow. That high. I guess now that I know about the crying index.
For context, I cried 3 times during Elemental.
Which really
is
shocked it.
A big amount of times.
Yeah, for a single movie.
So like for all of these, so like all of the ones prior to this, I cried. Okay, so starting it Up, because I didn't cry. I don't think I cried at Soul. I cried at Coco. Okay, so starting at Coco. Yeah, I've only cried once. I don't think I cried. No, I cried during Brave. Yeah. Okay, from Coco to Luca, up to this point, I have cried only once. One scene has hit me hard enough to make me cry. Elemental.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not anticipating that. I didn't expect to cry, period. Because again, we went in with very low expectations. Thrice.
Yeah.
And all very different reasons as well. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just like, this is sad or, oh, this is beautiful. It was different kinds, like 3 different emotions for the 3 different times that I cried. So like, and again, I feel like with Elemental, for one, it was so much better than we thought. And it was such an important story that I think everybody needs to experience at least once. Like, it's so freaking important to the story. But also, the fact that it came into my life at exactly the right moment. Because this is Pixar's first explicit love story.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say they haven't had relationships and romance, because they have, but that's never been the focal point.
No.
That's always been like, oh, hey, these 2 characters are a couple now.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, hey, these people are in a relationship. Like, it's great, but it's not really a romantic story, right? So the fact that this was the first straight up romance story that Pixar did, and the fact that it was such a healthy, beautiful relationship. Like, the characters were so lovable for their own reasons, and they were so good at bringing out the best in each other, and also making them into better people. People. for all intents and purposes, people. Like, so not only the complimenting, but also the betterment for the better of these 2 characters, because they are together. Just, I mean...
Well, one thing I like about it, too, is how...
obviously significant.
Yeah, how the relationship seems earned, unlike a lot of Disney movies where it's just like, we just, kind of like Doug. I just met you, and I love you. And it's just like, they didn't love each other. They didn't even like each other.
It was almost enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Almost.
It was more,
antagonists.
Yeah, it was more annoyance to lovers.
Yeah,
it's just like,
true.
Hey, you're causing problems for me. Oh, you're trying to help me now. Okay. So it's like, you're not a bad guy. You're trying to help me. And then it's like, hey, let's start to get to know you. It's like, hey, in this small amount of time, got to know you a little bit. Kind of like you. Let's spend a little more time. They spend time together, start liking each other more and more and more, until the was like, hey, you know what? We're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it felt earned.
Yeah.
And in a lot of Disney movies, relationships don't feel earned.
They just kind of happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than being breathtakingly beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful story that was not at all pitched well,
No.
or alluded to well.
No. Yeah. Like I said, I think they were trying to go for the make you wonder what it's actually about, but
and it didn't work.
No, because
It
instead
didn't
they made you think you knew what it was about.
And it was a deterrent.
And it's like, yeah, I don't want to watch that. And they're like, no, wait.
But yeah, I put it way higher than I expected to. Even at I was shocked in my own ranking. I was surprised by how high. And maybe you say maybe it would change in a couple months or even a year. It would not be this high. But as of right now, it's that high.
Wow.
It's really that high. I really liked it a lot.
All right, so my number 4 is Up. I love Up so much. Like I said, that 1-2 gut punch in the beginning. How many? We loved the Doug days.
Yeah.
And we watched them a couple of times now, and yeah, it's such a great movie, and I love Carl's characters. Because it's just he's a grumpy guy, and grumpy guys don't get to be the main characters.
But he's lovable.
He's
lovable. A good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a lovable guy. But it's the grumpy guy usually usually is not the main character in a kid's movie.
He's
in an adult movie, the grumpy character, it's grumpy guy turns into a not grumpy guy, is a very common thing for adult movies. But they don't tend to do that too often in kids' movies.
Well, and that tells you how relatable Pixar is to make a kids' movie about a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
And kids still like it.
I think that's
there's other characters too.
I think that's one thing I like about Pixar is quite often they make movies that tackle stuff that usually is restricted to adult movies, and still make it relatable and enjoyable for children. So yeah, that's like I said, I just love Up. It's so awesome and amazing. I love the humor in it is just top notch. Great humor in it. And like I said, in the beginning, the showing, not telling. I love show, don't tell. All right, so that was number 4.
Yep.
Number 3.
I think you'll be slightly surprised by these 3.
Ooh.
This is where things got interesting.
So the top 3 is going to be surprising to me, huh?
I don't know if it'll surprise you because you know what they are, but I think it'll surprise you how they're ranked.
Okay.
Because number 3 for me is Ratatouille.
Really?
Yes. I know. See.
I was expecting that to be number 2.
I know. But I had to. I did some thinking, used my brain, and I was like, in a way, Ratatouille will always be number 1 because it's just that good to me. But then I have these other 2, and it's well, if I have to give an honest answer, objectively, subjectively, Ratatouille is number 3. Because even though it is one of my absolute favorite Pixar movies ever, it's the other 2 just hit different.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
So I know one of the reasons why you love Ratatouille so much is because you like French. French?
French?
You love French so much.
I do love French. No,
yeah,
I studied French all through middle school and high school and even college. No, I studied all through college too. So yeah, basically, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 years of French?
Yeah.
That's a lot of French.
That's a lot of
So
French.
Yeah, the fact that it was quintessential French movie is great.
Yeah, it's about a third of your life right now.
Yeah. I also love cooking and restaurant stuff. If that's ever a part of a movie or a book, I'm automatically there. If it takes place in a restaurant, sign me up. I'm here for it. It's just one of my favorite things. So there's two interests right there.
And you also love cute fuzzy animals.
Yeah, I do love cute fuzzy animals, and Remy's a very cute fuzzy animal. And just Remy gets me in a way that a lot of characters don't. And I relate with a lot of animated and live action, but animated characters. I have a lot of fictional characters I resonate with, but Remy hits different because he is that artist, right? He technically that culinary artist, but the way that they depict him viewing flavor and the flavor combinations and the experience that he has with food, I'm like, that rat understands me on a deep emotional level.
Yep. I have seen you eat things and look like how Remy looks when he is sampling the food and like mixing it.
Well,
and you
even
see the
even representing it with like synesthesia,
Yeah.
with the colors and the sound. Like that's like I don't have synesthesia,
Mm-hmm.
but like that is exactly how it should be done. Like when they did that, I was like, yes, that is yes. And I just really love. I just really love the movie.
Yeah.
I love Remy. Remy understands me on a deep level. It's French. It's cuisine. It's French cuisine. It's just great.
All right.
I don't really have much to say dissertation-wise about it, but I've always loved Ratatouille. I will never not love Ratatouille. It's one of my absolute favorite Pixar movies. And one of my favorite movies probably of all time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make sure something is not amiss.
Yep.
Ooh.
Had a little bit of a
Pardon,
buzz
friends.
with the phone here, so we're making
it's
sure.
just 4th of July wishes.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
appreciated.
Oh, by the way,
Do it like happy 4th of July.
I meant to say that at the beginning, but I flubbed the beginning so bad that I forgot to say it. So yeah, hour and like 50 minutes or so into the podcast. Happy 4th of July.
Independence Day with Pixar.
My number 3.
Yep.
Kind of fits in with the 4th of July. Incredibles. The Incredibles.
Oh
is
my gosh!
number 3.
Yeah, you must have been hurt when I had it down at like what?
Yeah, where was yours?
What was it? Like
Yours was-
15?
Yeah, I kind of
13.
Yeah, so that was 10 below, but it's just like,
Oopsie.
Once again, the premise of what if the superheroes weren't allowed to be superheroes anymore, and like everyday life, and like the dad being like, I want to do more, I can't do this. Well, but also like I said, the dad's arc of like missing the old days to discovering what he truly has. Like that scene when they're about to go fight the giant robot and he's telling his wife, you stay here, I gotta do this by myself. And she thinks he's just trying to be big macho man, like, oh, is this fun for you? Is this working for you? He goes, no, I'm not strong enough. Oh, this is a workout. No, I can't lose you again. I'm not, and like just basically breaks down all the walls and shows all the raw emotion. Like, oh, that scene hit me so hard where I'm just watching this guy pour his soul out, being like, I have not, like basically showing him, he's like, when I thought that you were dead, I hit rock bottom, and like showing how he hit rock bottom, like when they're launching the missile at the plane, his desperation, he is willing to debase himself for this villain, like do anything he can, begging him, which is probably something he has never done as a superhero to say that. And when he thinks that his family is dead, like suddenly turning dark, like Sinestro even mentions, like, ooh, that's kind of dark for you. It's just like he's like hitting rock bottom, shows how much he's hit rock bottom. And like, it's just such a good movie.
It is good.
I love that movie so much. Yes. All right. Sorry. Well, it's got, but
Appreciative pause.
it kind of shows you how much I do enjoy these movies more than the movies we talked about in the beginning, because I'm actually going into and talking about and stuff like that because they actually hit me. They had an imprint on me, whereas the stuff in like the lower teens and stuff like that, it didn't have a hit on me, so I didn't have much to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. What is your number 2, Lauren?
Inside Out.
Wow. I did see, like I said, I knew.
I figured you would get stumped by these.
I kind of knew what I thought I knew what number 1 would be for you, and I think I was right on number 1. But I thought that Ratatouille was
and Inside Out would be
flipped. I thought Ratatouille was number 2, but no, you got Inside Out as number 2. Yeah.
Again, the only reason why is I think the thing is that even though Remy, as I've said, gets me on a personal level, and I saw myself in that movie, it was in a much more, I don't want to say superficial, because that's not the right word. But the way that Inside Out related to me
Mhm.
was so much more impactful than how Ratatouille resonated with me, if that makes sense.
I think so.
So, like, I don't want to get emotional. I'm going to. I'm going to stop right now. We're going to shut this train down, which is ironic because Inside Out was the first example that I ever had that negative emotions
Mm-hmm.
are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds really simple. Like, when you think about it, like, when
That's okay to cry.
well, not even that it's
or
okay.
feel sad.
Not even that it's okay to feel sad, but that anger and fear have always been very bad emotions for me. Like, I don't want, especially anger.
Yeah.
I never want to feel anger because to me it's a bad thing to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to see the cast of Inside Out, to see these different characters not only be represented as like cute, adorable, very like lovable characters, but to see them working in tandem to make one whole person, and to realize that, like, yes, bad things can come of certain emotions, but the emotions themselves are not bad because bad things come from joy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, it's just because the emotion is associated with positivity does not mean that it is a healthy, good emotion to have at all times. It takes a system, and it takes a partnership, and it takes a maturity and understanding and like an open communication with your own inner self, with your own being, to regulate and function as a person. But that also means having grace with yourself when things get out of control. And it's okay if things get out of control because we are only human, and we can only, because of our past experiences, we're only going to be able to be okay. Fuck. Quit looking so smug. Basically, long story short, Inside Out taught me that this is okay.
Yeah. As I often say, we support emotional expression in this household.
Exactly. So, yeah, seeing these little characters that represent previously bad things and seeing them as cute and lovable and funny, like they're adorable. Like, all of the Inside Out cast is adorable and you like them. And like, that's literally what it's supposed to be. But like, I feel like so often most of us never got that lesson. You don't see it that way. You know, I see it as something completely different. So to see them depicted that way was so much more affirming and so much more like, oh, okay, like, I get it now, or I get what I should have been getting a long time ago. And especially since Riley is so young. I mean, she's what, 12?
I think so.
She's not a teenager yet. But she's close.
I think so, yeah.
So the fact that she's almost a teenager, like, again, like, everyone makes the argument of, oh yeah, it's a volatile phase, teenage girl, brr. Like, yeah, sure, okay, that's fun. But, I mean, it also is very relevant, it's also very real, and it's also very nice to see,
Yeah.
I guess.
Because they're not playing it as a joke.
No,
They're
it's
playing
taken
it straight.
seriously. Yeah.
Yep.
It's taken seriously, and I think a lot of people, not just girls, but a lot of people, I think, saw themselves in Riley and were like, wow, that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
And I feel validated, and I feel seen, and I feel maybe comforted and better because of this movie. And there's a whole bunch of other reasons. I mean, talk about like the creativity and and the design of the long-term memory being this big old maze, and just like, again, creative.
And looking like the waves of a brain.
Yeah, just like creatively and conceptually and gorgeously rendered. Like, there's so many things you could gush about with Inside Out, but I feel like all those things are kind of just secondary, at least in my brain. It's like, well, yeah, of course it's brilliant. Look at the rest of it. Like, yes.
All right.
Say something so I can stop crying.
Butterfly. Windshield wiper. Half a butterfly. All right. Number 2. What do you got for your number 2?
That was number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. My number 2.
It's your number 2. I went on this beautiful rant for no reason.
You got so emotional that I lost track of what we were doing here. Yeah, my number 2.
What's your number 2?
Well, for those paying attention, you got 50-50 chance of guessing it correctly. But my number 2 is Toy Story. Wow. The OG, where we start. And I find this very, yours is, I think is the actual biggest difference, because didn't you have Toy Story is like number
15.
15, so that's
Yeah.
a 13-point difference there. But I don't know what it is, but like when it comes to franchises that I enjoy, the first movie often hits me really hard. Like in the Marvel universe, the first Iron Man is one of my favorites. You know, but like Toy Story, I just love like once again the idea. You know, the idea of it. It was the first. When they say that they're doing the whole, what if this thing had emotions thing? That was the first time they did it. So it was an original idea back then of what if. What if toys had emotions? What was doing all this and stuff like that? Had actual like emotional connection with the child that is playing with them, and also like the arcs that not only Woody goes through but Buzz also goes through. The fact that you have two very strong character developments in one movie, and like the music is amazing in it. You got a Friend in Me. When Buzz is like trying to fly, and stuff like that.
Gosh,
yeah, that's a and then just like the come down when he realizes that he is actually a toy, and like talk about you got a star-studded cast when it comes to the voices there. You got Tim Allen. You have this is why I really hate that.
You got this. You know this.
Tom Hanks.
There it is.
Don Rickles as a side character. You have a great comedic actor as a side character. Like just the voice acting is great. So much, everything about this movie is amazing. Love it so much.
Well, except the rendering of humans.
Yeah, the rendering, which is
but that's why they did what they did.
Yeah, why they weren't showing that often.
They knew.
Yeah.
They were aware.
But also,
the technology did not yet exist.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, the movie has its faults, as you will know if you see my video, Wit's Nitpicks with Toy Story. So I'm not going to go into all those problems because you should watch that video. But anyway, like, all these videos have faults in them somewhere. But like I said, I just love Woody coming to accept that, I can't be the favorite all the time. So that, and Buzz basically, and that's the thing too. That's I often enjoy the movie about how Buzz has taken Woody's spot and doesn't really even notice or care.
No, because he's got his own problems.
And I think that's really what like hits it hard for Woody is that like
you don't even know how good you have it right now.
You just stole something from me. And you don't even recognize that you stole something from me,
or appreciate it.
Like you're building your spaceship and trying away. It's like, it's like, oh, man. And then when
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
See, again, like you saw these as more of an adult person, so I haven't gone back and like gone.
Toy Story came out in like the early '90s, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like 3.
Yes, well, like I
saw it when I was like 6.
Yeah, so I was like 9 when I saw it. So it's kind of like when you saw some of these other ones you were talking about. Where it didn't make that connection. Like, see, I think for me, my appreciation for like you talk about how your very first impression of the movie is very strong. I feel my like when I saw it is important, but isn't so strong that it can't move up as I appreciate it more as an adult. I think that's one reason why our list differs so much.
Yeah.
Is because while that is a factor in mine, it is not as strong a factor as it is in yours.
Interesting. Well, there you go.
All right. So that's number 2.
All right.
So once again, if you were paying attention, you should be able to, know what the number 1s are simply because it's the only ones left. And also, we've kind of hinted at them this entire time. Like several times we've hinted at it. But Lauren, what could possibly be your number 1?
I never met nobody like you. For me, it's Turning Red.
Yep.
It's Turning Red.
Which I put where? Oh shoot!
It was higher for you than I thought.
Yeah, I put Turning Red. What? I lost. Number 9.
Yeah, so like that was way higher than I thought you would put it. Not that I think you don't like it, but I just kind of thought it would be lower down. But no, I struggled with this only because, again, I think that there might be objectively better movies than Turning Red, but I don't care. I just do not care. It is my absolute favorite, apart from Ratatouille, because Ratatouille has its own little bubble over here. If we weren't
It's a different favorite.
Yeah, it's a different favorite. We have a different favorite. So, like, Ratatouille is, like, the... Kind of like with Hunchback. Like, Hunchback is my all-time favorite Disney movie, so it's had its own little bubble, but, like, I have favorites that kind of, like, surpass it. It's kind of how this is. It's, like, nothing really truly surpasses Ratatouille, but for the sake of this list, Turning Red is the literal best. So, yeah, again, I've never seen myself represented so accurately, apart from Rapunzel and Tangled, which was not Pixar, but that was a while ago, and that was the first time I was like, oh my god, I've never seen myself so accurately depicted in a fictional character before. And then so Rapunzel kind of has to take a back seat now, and it's definitely Maylin and her relationship and her growing up and her coming into her actual self and her friend group and the early 2000s and the burn CDs and the fangirling.
Well, I remember when you...
And the drawing inappropriate things in notebooks in secret.
I remember when we were watching this, you actually, like, if I remember correctly, that was a straight to Disney Plus one also.
Yeah, it was.
And every once in a while, you paused it and you're like, this is me.
Yeah.
You just turned to me
Like,
and goes, if you want to know what I was like as a teenager, Steve, here it is.
This is literally
me as a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
without the origin story, without the Chinese and the Canadian, like if you remove that part of the story, it's almost exactly how like that. Yeah, it's hysterical how relevant that film is to, and again, once again, it's like the same as Inside Out. It's emotions are not a weakness, they are a power. They are literally a power to be harnessed and wielded as a weapon of love and protection. And that alone was enough to just, like, that's it. It broke me. And now, granted, what happens in addition to that, like, there are other very emotional scenes that also get me, but that was the core of the film for me. That was what broke me in the best way, was that one specific concept. And I don't even know if it's that original of a concept, but it's the first time I've ever seen it depicted in a story, and it just hits so hard. Yeah. So, like, I not only do I use the Inside Out people as a metaphor for myself, I also use the Red Panda as a metaphor to be like, okay, this is what you're feeling right now. Like, if I ever need to, like, check in with myself, and if I'm ever feeling like, oh my god, you're behaving so badly, or you're taking this so badly, or things are not going well, like, just having those two movies to reference and explain to me what it is that I am experiencing internally, which seems like something a little kid would do. Like, I feel like that's what these movies were meant, is like to teach little kids lessons like this. But the fact that I am a 32-year-old woman and I am using these cute little cartoons as a way to internalize what I am actually feeling and experiencing, it's like it's incredible. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. It's affected me in a way that I never thought I would ever be affected, especially also, by animation.
Not the good dad character.
Yes,
we love the dad in it.
We do.
Except, oh god, the like
Jin is such a good dad.
Like, the reaction he had when Maylin like suggests to her mom that she stay and hang out with dad, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "I'll go get my keys," and it does like, "Oh," like.
Like, visibly, oh.
Yeah, you feel so bad because, like, he wants to be some time with his wife, but his wife is yeah.
No.
And he loves his daughter too.
A little more passive of a dad character, but no less good.
But also, but though, he is there. Like, he is there when they need him. Like how the grandma is constantly berating him, being like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and then, like, at the end, it was like, where is he? He's already doing the thing that needs to be done. Like, he's ahead of you. You've been berating him this whole time because he's not doing stuff when you want to be done, but he's already ahead of you. He knows what needs to be done, and he is kicking butt.
Well, and again, the mother-daughter relationship, the concept of wanting to honor your parents and wanting to be a good kid. There's that Luca thing again, like being a good kid, doing as you're told, being obedient, making your parents happy and pleased and proud, but then where is the line between where I please my parents and where I become my own individual?
Mm-hmm.
When does my life start? When do I start living for myself? And that is the main question that is tackled with Turning Red. And again, a very strong symbol that I think is incredibly important for certain people who need to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of them. And I don't know how many other people are, but I feel like if you can get past the zany anime influence animation and the screaming over boy bands and all that other fun, fantastic stuff that is in no way a bad thing, but if you can get through all that zany stuff and get to the core of that message, I feel like it can really help and resonate with a lot of people who need to hear that particular message.
You're trying so hard not to cry right now.
I'm doing great. Don't even, sir.
I didn't say you are failing. I just emphasizing the amount that you are working. All right. So, once again, if you've been paying attention, you should know what my number one is. It is Wally. Now, where did you place? No, so yeah, when
Wally
I placed,
was in my good category. So
but I
placed
placed Turning Red at 9.
Wally was 11.
Okay, so it was a little lower than
Lower.
But yeah, like I said,
Not terrible.
As I've said several times in this ranking, I love show don't tell, and like pretty much the entire first act of this movie is show don't tell.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much of this that is show don't tell of this. Like almost the whole movie is that I just love it so much. And I remember, like, I've talked to people who get bored. Like, they're like, it's the beginning is so boring. I'm like, the beginning is so awesome. You're just so used to movies spoon feeding you stuff that you're not used to having to actually think. Okay, what does this mean? What is this representing?
Mm-hmm.
What are they showing me? And it's so. And also, like, you talk about being, seeing yourself in movies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to Pixar movies, I usually don't see myself in them that well. But Wall-E being the dorky little robot who all he wants is to find love and find someone and doesn't really know how to show them. And it's still trying. He is still trying, but he keeps messing up because he doesn't, he has no idea what he's doing and keeps messing up. Like that, I think of Pixar characters is the one I resonate closest to.
That's so cute.
And like I said, and like the humor is so good in Wall-E.
Yeah.
It is so amazing, and like the Screech from Eve when Wall-E gets crushed.
Yeah.
Like where she's just like it almost seems like she's breaking her programming by screaming like that because her voice before now has been very like kind of monotone and stuff. She does do a little bit of variation as she grows emotions with Wall-E, but like just like that basic. I talked before about walls coming down with the Incredibles and like that. That's kind of how I feel like what happens with Eve. It's like all of her wall, because she puts up all these walls. I'm a professional. I got to do this. I realize it's a robot, but still, it's like that's what it feels like.
The personification.
Yeah, and at that moment where she's just like no, and like when she gets back to Earth and puts Wall-E back together, and he's not himself, and like. They do such a good job of making you think. Like, that's what I appreciate of Pixar. So far, Pixar has not pulled the trigger yet of having the bad thing be permanent.
Yeah.
Like,
but they come close.
They've come close. Like, that was one of the closest ones. In Elemental, they came close. Once again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But, like, in Elemental, Wade is evaporated, and...
You think he's dead.
You think he's dead because, this entire movie, they've been saying that, like, if he evaporates, that's a bad thing, because like she even says it earlier, he's like, you could put me out, I could, evaporate you, and so it's like
framed as this very like serious
and,
mortal,
and I feel like they didn't really touch on it, but I feel like if they did not bring him back in that moment, I feel like the reason they could have brought back in that moment was because all of his water molecules was still in that area,
Right.
and that's why I could. And like if
He wasn't dispersed
yeah,
throughout the
if he
atmosphere.
dispersed, then he can't come back. But like in Wall-E, when oh man, when she just screams, it's like and he doesn't come back, and you can see her being like, yeah, it's me, like, yeah, do the hand thing, it's me, and look, here's all this stuff that you love, and he just crushes it.
Mm-hmm.
That crushed me when he's like,
oh, this is garbage.
yeah, this is garbage.
He's doing his job.
I must destroy the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, those are his prized possessions that he just destroyed. Like it is hard. And then they do the little zap. As soon as they did that zap from which they showed earlier, I was like, oh, that's it. And then I'm like, yes, Wall-E is back. And like just how cute and adorable Wall-E is. So for those of you who watch my videos and watch my streams, you will know that I have a bookcase with a bunch of stuff, and on said bookcase is a little plush Wall-E. And the story behind this plush Wall-E is we were in Goodwill just kind of having fun. Goodwill is an indoor garage sale, and I like garage sales. So like we're just going around Goodwill, and we're going past the toy section. She's ahead of me, and she goes, "Hey, look what I found!" It just shows it to me. And she just meaning is hey, look, isn't this kind of a cool thing? And I went, yoink, mine now.
Yep, Wall-E came home.
Yeah, Wall-E came home. Wall-E is going to have a place of honor on the shelf of cool stuff. And I guess that's
what saying my stuff isn't cool?
No, I'm just saying that's what the purpose of the bookshelf is.
Yes,
is
I know.
I'm
giving you a hard time.
Excuse me, I'm pretty sure some of the stuff on the shelf of cool is stuff you've given me.
That's true.
So anyway, but like, yes, I love Walt. Like I knew that Turning Red was going to be her number one, and I thought Ratatouille was going to be number two, because like
again,
I knew Ratatouille was number one before Turning Red, but I'm like, you had such a strong reaction to Turning Red. I was like, there's no way it came number one. She knew that Wall-E was going to be number one for me.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yep, that is it. That's
it.
Tires. Wow.
Woo!
We could have split this up into 2 episodes.
We could have, but we didn't.
No.
And I'm glad. This was fun.
All right. So,
do you want to still? Do you want to do our thing, or do you want to not?
We have to do the outro thing.
Okay.
Because when I stop doing stuff, that's when it dies. It's a slippery slope, and so no, we are going to do our usual outro.
Okay.
So for those of you who, once again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I never understand watching a podcast or listening to a podcast on any episode other than the first. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me to, skip ahead, because a lot of times you lose the inside knowledge and appreciation that they're referencing stuff from previous episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So
why
circling back.
I was going to say, why was that
if you
happening?
are one of those people, no shade, you do you. But at the end of the videos, we have decided that what we do is Kiss, Marry, Kill. And what it is I give Lauren 3 characters. So far, they've always been Disney, I believe. At some point, I'll probably branch out. But 3 characters. She has to choose one to kiss, choose one to kill, and choose one to marry. Mm-hmm. And if the characters are not human, then I've made the house rule, as you might remember from before, that if they're not human, you, for the kiss and the marry, you transform into that animal, so it's not weird. But for the kill, you have to still be yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just a house rule, which will become relevant really shortly here. But for the kiss and the marry, she turns into said animal. For the kill, she has to remain human. So, and I often try to...
I would kiss a fox on the snoot. I'm just saying. Anyway.
So for this, I often try to do some type of theme. So the 3 characters are Raja from Aladdin.
Okay.
Pascal from Tangled.
Animal sidekicks.
And Miko from Pocahontas. I had to look up, for those who don't know, Miko is the raccoon. I had to look that up because I was coming up with this list at work. I was like, okay, Raja from Aladdin, the tiger from Aladdin, Pascal, the chameleon from Tangle, and I'm like, raccoon from Pocahontas. What's his? And like I couldn't remember its name, so I wrote in my notes raccoon Pocahontas and left space so I could write Miko's name. So now she has to choose.
I don't want to kill anybody.
I know. Yeah, I knew that would be probably the hardest one for you here.
Oh,
but
crap.
the reason that this is this is animal sidekicks, and the reason this is a bit different from last time was that those ones were main characters in their movies, and these ones are sidekicks. Because like the last time it was Baloo, Simba, and Todd, who are also all animals, but they are the main characters of their movie, and this is animals who are sidekicks in the movie.
Oh man.
So we got Raja, Pascal, and Miko.
Okay.
So have you made your decisions?
Yes.
All right. Who do you kiss?
Pascal.
You're kissing Pascal.
Yes.
He's going to turn red.
Aww.
Who are you marrying?
He's a little guy.
Oh, sorry. Yes, explanation.
He's
Sorry.
a little guy.
Yeah.
He's cute.
So
Also,
cute,
he would
cutie.
probably feel good to kiss because he's got that like smooth, scaly. Like it wouldn't feel weird. Like
Okay.
he has a nice texture.
Well, remember, you're also going to be a chameleon when you're kissing him.
Oh, well then it doesn't matter.
Well,
But
I mean, you'll still feel. You still have feeling.
well, yeah, I suppose. So yeah, he's a little lizard guy, and yeah, he's cute. He's small. He's tan side. Like I was thinking, Princess and the Frog, kind of
Yeah.
like just like.
And now you're a chameleon. No.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. It's Princess of Frog remake with chameleons. All right. So that's a kiss. Who are you going to marry?
Raja.
You're going to marry Raja. Any reasoning for that?
Because I resonate with cat-like creatures more than I do. Even though Miko's more like a rodent, I feel like he's more like he's kind of more of a weasel, I guess, or kind of a no. He's a cat, isn't he? Because are raccoons felines?
No, raccoons are not felines.
They're not.
No, they are part. I believe they are part of the rodent family. I'm not on. You look it up on your phone if you want.
Oh, either way, I don't know. I just feel like
they're definitely not felines.
I feel like I can get behind a cat more than I can a raccoon. Because even though Miko's adorable, raccoons on a personal level.
Reason they're called trash pandas.
I have a vendetta against raccoons simply because they're so destructive and they're so damn smart. They're almost impossible to thwart, and they're so like they damage everything. Like I don't want raccoons anywhere near my property. Like they're cute and they're fluffy and I appreciate them for what they are, but they're also a menace to society. So I can't get behind marrying something I feel so viscerally against.
So you are going to kill poor, innocent, adorable Miko. Miko, sorry.
Yes.
Miko.
Because he is in fact a raccoon. And that
He's
is
such a
his...
cute little,
I know, but...
With his hands, his little tail.
Hands of destruction and vandalism.
I mean, he does steal a lot in the movie.
I like cartoon ones, but he's unfortunately a raccoon.
Yeah.
Ergo, he must
Die.
cease to exist in
All
this
right.
game of silliness. Also, again, if I marry Raja, still royalty.
I mean, technically speaking...
For those who don't know, I tend to always marry royalty just so I can be in power.
Speaking, all three of these are sidekicks to princesses.
True.
So they're
but...
all...
I don't know. Raja
feels
literally,
royal.
his name literally means like king.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like a Maharaja. Like
okay.
Raja. Yeah, it literally like means royalty.
Okay.
So yeah, and tigers are just majestic.
So yeah, like if you marry Raja, you get to live in the palace. Whereas if you marry Miko, you
also,
live
do
on
you
the
remember
woods.
like the laugh they do for Raja? I'm like, like deep. Like I mean, come on, Raja's hot. You know it.
All right, this is going in a direction. I mean, when you do Kiss, Marry, Kill, it's going to go in that direction regardless. But all right, so I would like to thank you all for watching.
Woo!
That
was a long one.
If you'd like to enjoy other material by myself and also sometimes featuring the wonderful, amazing, awesome, beautiful Lauren. On YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch, it is Invasive Wit. If you would like to listen to this podcast on Spotify, you would search it under its name, Witty Banter. Other than that, thank you for watching, and goodbye and good luck.